out this day. Let's go to John 5:39. It says, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. And they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you.
Now in the 12th month.
Oh my goodness. That was her Bible reading to you. A little Siri. She been sipping. She on some Douce, not some. She's on some Douce. Say, I come in my Abba's name and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another and seek not the honor that come from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Elohim, to accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, to whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? Well, let's go with what? I will go with Numbers 24, because Numbers 24 gonna definitely we're gonna kick it off. Numbers chapter 24. Hold on, my bad. Ecclesiastes 12:9. And the reason why I'm asking y'all this is, one, because of what's in Ecclesiastes 12:9. Because we just gonna go through and do what's in Ecclesiastes 12:9. Does anybody remember the Hebrew word for preacher? It's been a long time. We dealt with it before, but it's been a long time.
Kohan is for priest, right?
Kohan is for priest, correct. It's all good if you don't remember. Start with a coup. Kohaleth. The def, and that is an arranger of sentences. So a preacher should be able to do exactly what you're about to see he say in Ecclesiastes 12:9. Moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yea, and he gave good heed and sought out and set in order many proverbs. What is the word for proverbs? So what characters you gonna have with that? It's Mashal. What characters you gonna have with that? What else? And Lamar. Now that's the key point when you see what. So a proverb should be based off what the characters you use to spell it. A proverb should be able to do what? What's the main thing a proverb should be able to do? Teach you. So then if it's going to teach you, then now we look at the other two characters. What is it going to teach you? It's either going to pair you, it's going to teach you to pair yourself with the Ruach or pair yourself with the blood. But either way it goes, it's going to teach you to pair yourself with the Son of God, period, at the end of the day. That's what it's teaching. So when he say he coming to set in order men in Proverbs, he's coming to set you in an order to where you're paired to him and believe on him. What did he say they wouldn't come do to him in John? He said, you won't what? You won't come to me, that you might have life. See, he told him in John chapter 8, right? He said, you know what? He said, if you don't believe that I'm he, you're going to die in your sins. That's what he told him. That's why it's important that the gospel goes forth. That's why it's important. Without the gospel, you're going to hell. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Because you won't receive the Ruach HaKodesh. And how can you get it? What did he tell you in the parable of the marriage for the king? What was the end result? What was the mistake them people made that he called to that marriage? That's Matthew 22 if you don't know where it's at. That parable, what happened? No, that's 25. Now, he mentioned that, but it was something that caused some people to get cast off in the outer darkness, and they ain't had no garments on. He said, how you come to the wedding feast with no garments on? How you think you going to come to the feast of the Lamb with no Ruach on? He going to look at you like, cuz you ain't got on the right clothes. So I can't grant you admittance. So you think just because you say you prayed, or you said you believe, but if you do not take hold of the Ruach HaKodesh, you're not getting in. And that will be even more relevant later on this evening with some conversations that we're going to have. If you don't deal with whatever it is that needs to be dealt with so that man can dwell. What did we read last night, right? By him dwelling in your house. And what else did we sit back in Isaiah 7? He said, ask him for a sign in two places. And where did he ask where he wanted to see them signs at? In the earth. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't see his resurrection and ascension, That means the comforter never came to you. And if the comforter never came to you, that means you never loved him. And if you never loved him, then you already know what the end result of that is going to be. So to obtain the Ruach HaKodesh is the most important endeavor that you will embark in your life. It's more important than you being a husband or a wife. It's more important than you being a mother or a father. It's more important than you being a businessman, because that's the thing that's going to cause you to be a son or daughter of Elohim. And that is more important than anything that you will ever embark on in this life. And if you think that it's not, you'll find that out when worms are eating your flesh and that fire is never quenched. Then you're going to wish that you took it more seriously. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not playing. It's not a joke. It's not a game. He's dead serious. So nevertheless, the preacher sought to find out acceptable words, that which was written was upright, even words of truth. The words of the wise are as goads, and as nails fastened by the master of assemblies, which are given by one shepherd. So we talked about that, right? Goads, Dorban, the son of the high. The son was hanged by the highest to secure eternal life. Nevertheless, what I said we're going to start with, Numbers chapter 24. Now, see, I can already tell off the top of my head that we can weave Numbers 24, Ezekiel 38, and maybe Job 11 all together. And I can still work in the stuff we got in Ezekiel 27, most high willing. Numbers 24 and 1. Now, some of the stuff we're not going to take the time to precept out like all the way out, but I will tell you where the stuff is at, most high willing. When Balaam saw that it pleased Yahuwah to Baruch Yasharal, he went not, as at other times, to seek for enchantments, but he set his face towards the wilderness. And Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw Yasharal abiding in tents. See, now, this is going to tie to something else. Now, I'm going to tell you, hold on. I'm going to see where your memory's at. I'm not mad if you don't recall it. He says, and Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw Yasharal abiding in his tents, according to the tribes, and the Ruach of Elohim came upon him. Now, out of Nehemiah 3, Numbers 24, Ezekiel 38, Habakkuk 1, Job 11, Hosea 7, 1 Kings 12, and Ecclesiastes chapter 10, with Balaam seeing Yasharal abiding in their tents, which one of those chapters do you think relates to that? Of what we're going to look at? Nehemiah 3, Ezekiel 38, Habakkuk 1, Job 11, Hosea 7, 1 Kings 12, and Ecclesiastes 10. One of those chapters can give a reference to what's here in verse 2.
I don't even know which one I'm talking about.
Let's say Ezekiel 38.
That would be correct. Let's look at it. Ezekiel chapter 38, right? I want you to pick this up at verse 8. See, we're going to come back. And we're going to work and weave everything in together. After many days you shall be visited. In the latter years you shall come into the land that is brought back from the sword and gathered out of many people. What land is this? Huh? He said the land that is brought back from the sword. What land is that? That's Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying gathered out of many people. You should know from Matthew 24, he said he's going to send his Malachim out, and what are they going to do? The elect from the four corners of the earth. Same thing the book of Isaiah in the 11th chapter told you. So what you see with this is, and this is also Luke chapter 18, where he said what? When I come back, I will avenge you speedily. But nevertheless, will I find faith on the earth? Because he telling you he coming. And he telling you he coming to get you. You know what I'm saying? That's not no issue. You ain't got to worry. I done told y'all that. You ain't got to worry about that. Oh, that's going down. You know the one thing pissed me off most about Hebrews? Man, we trying to get out this captivity. Y'all ever heard Bruce say that before? Y'all need to tighten up so we can get out this captivity. You know what they really saying when they say that? Yeah, but that the salvation is contingent on you. See, it ain't even about y'all. It's about you. Because you feel like if we keep certain laws, a certain amount of people wake up, that then we gonna get delivered. When has y'all ever done that? Did it need anybody to do anything to get you out of Egypt, or did they come out of Egypt when he was ready? He said, I heard y'all crying unto me. I had respect unto it. I remember the covenant. Let me go get them. When they came out of Babylon, did that need that? He said 70 years you're gonna be here. And when that 70 years was up, what happened? You slid. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing none of us can do to speed this process up. You know what I'm saying? He don't need our help. This ain't got nothing to do with you. Because that's why I mentioned that last night. Every time I hear a Bruce say, how they going to look at us as a nation? I want to spit in their face. You know what I'm saying? Because you a blasphemous bastard. Because you don't love Yahuwah. Because he ain't even crossed your mind. It didn't even cross your mind how Yahuwah look. You don't care if his name blaspheme. You don't care how they look at him. You just worry about how people going to look at you. That ain't right. That's your father. Why you don't care about your father's reputation? Don't you realize you a representation of your parent? And you a representation of Yahuwah. So I've been told you that. How many times you tell you, man, if you ain't going to live right, stop talking to people about the word. Keep it to yourself. You know why? Because they're going to blaspheme. You know what I'm saying? See, when you saying you need to get to this truth and you need to keep this Sabbath, but you fornicating, but you lying like they know the stuff you doing, they not going to take you seriously. And it's not you they not taking serious. It's y'all they not taking serious. Because why would I fear and honor and respect a man you don't? That makes sense. If somebody came and told you, yeah, boy, bro, beat you up, and then you see somebody walk up and slap him in the face, you going to respect him after that? After you done did all this talking about how tough he was? Dude just walked up and punched him in the face. He ain't do nothing. And you walk around saying Yahuwah this and Yahuwah that, and you over here living like this and they know it. They not going to take y'all seriously. I've been told people that. People wonder why they can't bring people in. It's that or it ain't for them. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't for them, it ain't for them. Ain't nothing you can do about that. You can't force y'all to open somebody's heart to receive the word. You can't force people to do what's right. You can't force people to conduct themselves in a proper fashion. You can't affect nobody's behavior but yours, or the way that your behavior affects other people. That's the only thing that you can control. I can't control what you do. I'm not responsible for what you do. I'm not responsible for how you behave. And you can't try to control other people's behavior or get down on yourself because other people don't behave themselves in a particular fashion. Because that has nothing to do with you. And that's not indicative of anything about you. That's about them. You know what I'm saying? That's why I told them niggas that, well, how the nation's going to look? I ain't got nothing to do with how they look at us. I know if you see me, you ain't going to run around here and say, I'm a sinner. That's the only thing I can control. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna kill no woman. I'm not finna lie on this man. I'm not finna go over here and worship idols. So I'm not gonna give you the opportunity to blaspheme my God. Ain't that what he said about David? We looked at that Wednesday. Ain't that what he said? You gave my enemies opportunity to blaspheme because you couldn't control your penis. So I got to kill that baby to let you know. Same thing when they were coming out of the wilderness. He said, I'm finna kill them. He said, Moses said, please don't do it. He said, if you do it, all the Egyptians and everybody gonna say you couldn't bring him in. But guess what? It wasn't because of Yah. It was because of you. You worshiped the golden calf to move that man to wrath to do that. To where these people would have opened their mouth and said what Yah couldn't do because you didn't want to obey. You ain't never hear Moses say, the nation's gonna look at us. He said they gonna blaspheme him. Ain't that what he said? The focus was on Yah. See, we want to put the focus on us. That's deplorable and unacceptable in every shape, form, or fashion. Let it, like Paul wrote, let everything you do it for the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Let it be because of him. Stop worrying about doing it for people or trying to show people how righteous you are. This, that, there, and the third. Do it for the Lord. If you do it for the Lord, you'll be amazed how much easier it is to serve him. Because you'll be doing it from the sincerity of your heart and it will become a part of who you are. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing it to please men, you always going to falter because you're trying to put on a farce, an image, if you will. And that's not going to get you far. Ezekiel 38:8. After many days you shall be visited in the latter days. You shall come into the land that is brought back from the sword and is gathered out of many people. Against the mountains of Yasharal, which have always been waste, it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall safely dwell. They shall dwell safely, all of them. They shall ascend and come like a storm, and shall be like a cloud to cover the land, all your bands and many people with you. Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, it shall come to pass that at the same time things shall come into your mind, and you shall think an evil thought, and shall say, I will go up into the land of unwalled villages, and I will go to them that are at rest and dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, having neither bars nor gates. Now come back to Numbers 24. Let me ask y'all a question. Did they have bars or gates when they were dwelling in the wilderness? What was Balaam asked to do? To curse them. For that same purpose that you would have, so they would have an evil thought to come up and do what? Take them out, right? But he said, no, not so fast, my friend. Nisha's gonna come through that door. I got no tail. Gotta them in the little kiddie seats. Numbers chapter 24, right? We in verse 3. They got a chair for you right there. You sure? It said he took up his parable. So if he's taking up a parable, what is he taking up? He's taking up a teaching, right? A teaching that's going to pair you to the Most High. Balaam, the son of Beor, said, and the man whose eyes were open said, he have said, which heard the words of the Almighty, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, having his eyes open. How goodly are your tents, O Jacob, and your tabernacles, O Yasharal. He said, as the valleys are they spread forth, as gardens by the riverside, as the trees of lying aloes which Yahuwah planted, cedar trees beside the waters. What does that line up with? This line up with something. It line up with something in the prophets and in the New Testament. We in verse 6. Listen to what he said. Your valleys are spread. There's gardens by riverside. There's trees of lying aloes. Yah planted them. And cedar trees beside waters. That's in Revelation. But what is it in Revelation? Yeah, but where is it at in the prophets? Who can tell me where it's at in the prophets, though? Jeremiah does mention some of that, but Isaiah does too. I'm thinking of one particular prophet in particular. Matter of fact, no, it's not in that chapter that we're looking at. Ezekiel mentioned it. He told you about how the waters would rise up and that there were trees. The same thing that's in Revelation is in Ezekiel. Once you start dealing with Ezekiel 37 and back, the Lord done came back. Everything from Ezekiel 37 and back is the Lord coming by. Ezekiel 37 is the resurrection of the dead. Ain't got nothing to do with no waking up your no nationality. That junk grind my gears when I hear stupid niggas say that. The valley of the dry bone waking up. That's somebody who don't know what they talking about. That's somebody who don't know what they talking about. That's what they're trying to use to preach the gospel that has not been ordained to be preached. That's the resurrection of the dead. Remember, we just went through that not too long ago. They said they ain't had no breath in them, and he breathed life in them. And then from that, you see them dwelling in the land with a Mashiach. See, what you see in Ezekiel 38 is the 1,000-year reign. After Ezekiel 38, we getting the city prepared for Yah to dwell in.
That's why that's God after the 1,000 years.
That's in Revelation 20.
Yeah.
That's let's start. What's in Revelation 20 and 7 about Gog and Magog storming on Jerusalem? That's Ezekiel 38.
But what's that in Ezekiel with the river?
Oh, let me show you what chapter it is, because I don't want to tell y'all it's the wrong chapter. I want to say it's chapter 40. And no, it's actually chapter 47. It's chapter 47. It's Ezekiel 47. Ezekiel 47, that whole chapter is about talk about that tree and that water coming up to the temple and all of that. Ezekiel 47. You know, all this stuff, man, it's the same word. One word just confirming another word. But it's the same word because it comes from the same source. So it's nothing different. But I'm just focusing on it, mentioning that because he's telling you about New Jerusalem here. That's what he's telling you about. Well, the words of the wise are as gold. So let me ask you this question. If the word is Dorban, and you have taken the seed that the Son was hanged by the highest to secure eternal life, how else you going to get into New Jerusalem? You would have to do the same thing, would you not? So that's pertaining to the gospel, because that's what the words of the wise are going to do. They're going to give you that information, and then you're going to understand that if I do this, that this is my reward. And if you know that this is my... Get 1 Corinthians chapter 15 real quick, by verse 50. Bear with me if I move a little swiftly. Because we got 1 Corinthians 15 and 50. This is why it's important to get the Ruach HaKadosh, right? Storms are moving east. If y'all were not aware. That's what the weatherman just told us. Storms are moving east. That's what the weatherman just said. Yes, what may I do for you? I don't want any pretzels, but I thank you for offering. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Elohim, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. Let me ask y'all a question to see if we can bring something back to your memory. When the Mashiach rose from the dead in Luke chapter 24 and 36, he made a statement. When he told his apostles to handle him, Do anybody remember what he said to them?
You said the Lord don't have bones.
He said, a spirit don't have flesh and bones as you see me have. Why is that important? Who remembers why that is important? No, not in that regard. Flesh and bone. So why is it a difference, right? He just said flesh and blood can't inherit the kingdom. Hamashiach said when he resurrected from the dead, he was flesh and bone. Why is that important?
Because
That's the spiritual body of the kingdom.
because what was it in Deuteronomy and Numbers? Somewhere it said don't eat the blood, for the blood is the life. But
That's the
now
correct
since,
answer.
rose,
If I drain all the blood out your body right now, what's going to happen?
you gonna die.
So you can't enter the kingdom with no, that's got to leave. When he resurrected from the dead, he said, look, he didn't say I was flesh and blood anymore. He said I'm flesh and bone. So what was having a Mashiach alive? So that's why you can't be flesh and blood. That's why you got to receive the Ruach and be born again. You can't get in with flesh. You think you're going to get in with life? Blood perishes, it coagulates and it disappears. The Ruach cannot be destroyed. Because at that point you're saying you can destroy Yahuwah, and that's just asinine in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about that, that's why he's telling you flesh and blood can't enter. Hamashiach couldn't ascend into Shamahim like me and you. That's why he had to die. And notice what happened when he died. What did they do when he was on the stake in John 18? What happened? They pierced him. And what happened when they pierced him? All the blood came out because he had to empty himself out. And what do you have to do in order to receive the Ruach? You have to empty yourself out. You have to release any and everything that will preclude you from receiving that. Meaning anything carnal that Elohim would not accept, you must let that go. You can't hold that and take that with you. Because if you do, then guess what's going to happen? You're not going to get in. See, I was telling Trina this here, right? We done been through so much, and I know that every part of it you can't remember. So that means that we're going to have to go back through the text and go back through the whole gospel all over again. Not because niggas not doing what they're supposed to be doing, because you have to stir up your mind by remembrance. That's a lot of information. You think do you think it's really realistic to be like, oh, I know they can remember all of that? No, that's not realistic. You know what I'm saying? I know it's certain things you can remember. You know what I'm saying? But in order for your soul to get saved, you got to believe the whole play. And if we got to go back, and then plus it's people who ain't never heard it. And guess what? I'm not ignorant to think, or not even say, I'm not simple enough to think that somebody's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to take the time and watch 400-500 videos to catch up. You know what I'm saying? Like some people got churn, you got jobs, this, that, and the third. You're trying to study what you just learned, and you think you're going to sit back and try to recycle stuff from 4, 5, 6 years ago. That's unrealistic. So if we have to go back over it, then we just go back over it. It's not that serious. Verse 51. Behold, I will show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound. And the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where's thy sting? O grave, where's thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is Torah. How is the Torah the strength of sin? Does anybody know the answer to that question? How is the strength of sin the Torah? Because it's law.
Yeah, like Paul talking about the road, wasn't it? The sin.
Because of the carnal ordinances that was pertaining to.
No, the strength of sin is Torah for what he just mentioned, what you mentioned. Basically, what gives the Torah its strength is when you sin against it. Do you know what I'm saying? The Torah doesn't have strength against anyone if you don't sin against it. What strength did the Torah have against Hamashiach? None. What sin did he commit? None. The Torah only has strength to overcome it because he bore your sins. He bore your blasphemy. You know what I'm saying? This law doesn't have power over any man if you're not contrary to it. What can the law do to you if you're not contrary to it? Now sit there and think about it. What can the law do to you? Can the law send you to the lake if you don't commit adultery? If you don't lie? If you don't steal? It can't do any of that. The moment you commit it, now the law got strength. That's why he say, oh grave, where's your victory? The sting of death is sin. So you don't get stung with death until you do what? Because he said in Ezekiel 18, right, the soul that sinned, it shall die. Adam, for all intents and purposes, was straight for a moment until he did what? When he sinned, then what he got stung with. And then what gave the law strength? Because they sinned. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't sin, then the law don't have no strength. See, people think that means there's something wrong with the law. He's just sitting here telling you, stop giving the law power to condemn you by stop sinning. It's not that hard. And I done already told y'all about that. If a nigga tell you can't stop sinning, you need to get from around him. You need to get from around him. That's somebody who's an idiot. That's the same way of saying you can't stop smoking crack. Yeah, I can. I can just put the stem down. You know what I'm saying? What you mean I can't stop smoking? Like, why would you allow anybody to why wouldn't you allow nobody to put limitations on you in any area in life until it comes to this? Now you're going to let somebody put limitations on you. How many of y'all would let somebody tell you what you couldn't do? How many of you have let people tell you what you couldn't do and you believed it? You know what I'm saying? And now you've allowed this person to impress their weaknesses and their insecurities on you and to dictate how you view yourself. You know what I'm saying? You should never let nobody tell you what you can't do. What did the man, Hamashiach made a statement to his apostles one time. He said, with man, this is impossible. But with Elohim, what? All things are possible. So don't nobody tell you that. Don't nobody tell you that. Don't even convince yourself that. Because you setting yourself up for failure. You don't go into an endeavor thinking you're going to fail. Because you're going to fail. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to go into an endeavor knowing that I'm going to win. Will mistakes be made? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in this room in their service to y'all that made a mistake or two on that for it. Ain't nobody can sit back and say different. You know what I'm talking about? The point is, if you made the mistake, will you learn from the mistake and correct the mistake and never make that mistake again? So I done told you, if you make the same mistake twice, that was a wasted life experience and something is mentally wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be making the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over again. That means you're not learning from your situations. You just recycling life experiences and you wasting your time. And there are many other adjectives that I could use to describe that level of stupidity, but I'll keep them to myself. You know what I'm saying? But if you make a mistake in a different area, that's just you making a mistake.
No, I don't care.
It's not a big deal. Learn from it. And see, that line I just told you, see, I got that from a baser. Baser sat there used to tell us that. Say, baby, don't you be around here wasting life experiences, not learning from your mistakes. What you went through it for if you don't get nothing from it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, we young too. She's like, yeah, you right. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, Miss Rose. Straight up. Like, see, one thing that we knew, just because somebody was on drugs didn't mean they ain't had no sense. They just happened, everybody had their own thing. Some people smoke cigarettes. Some people smoke crack. Some people smoke weed. Some people drink alcohol. Some people shop. Some people masturbate. You know what I'm saying? People have their issue of what it is where they're looking for a physical release. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to look at you lesser because that's your choice of physical release. You still human. You still do respect. You know a lot of people don't respect people because they get high, they get drunk. I don't respect you when you don't respect yourself. You know what I'm saying? No, I ain't going to respect you then. That don't mean I'm going to disrespect you, but I don't respect you. Verse 57. He said, but thanks be to Elohim, which give us victory through our master, Yahushua HaMashiach. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know your labor in the Lord, your labor is not in vain in the Lord. You have to know that what you're doing is not fruitless and a waste of time. See, you can only know that if you believe the word. See, if you don't believe the word, then that's not going to mean nothing. Back to Numbers chapter 24. I got to crank it up a notch. Oh, yeah, verse 7. I remember verse 7. He said, he shall pour water out of his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters, and his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. What does that mean when he said he's going to pour water out of buckets? What does he mean when he said, and we talked about it last night.
What his word is.
He's going to pour that ruach out. Remember, what's the character for water? And you know that's that ruach. How many times he described his spirit as water? Numerous times. What did he tell you in Revelation? Everybody come to the what and drink? The waters. Matter of fact, he said, ho, ho, ho. Come ye to the waters and drink and buy milk without price. He said, why do you buy bread that ain't even bread? He said, hearken unto me. And he said, I'll show you the sure mercies of David. So when he telling you he see his seed in many waters, we talked about his seed last night, right? So his seed is dwelling in the Ruach. Period. And when he say his kingdom will be higher than Agag, y'all know who Agag is, right? King of Amalek. He was the highest king in the land at one time, wasn't he? Who went and killed Agag? Now this before this in Numbers, so who killed Agag? It was good old trusted Abraham. Remember Abraham slaughtered Agag. That's Genesis 14. Agag, he slaughtered all them boys. He slaughtered all them boys. Abraham was stone cold killer. That's why I was offended. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I think I mentioned. Did I mention y'all that last night?
I'm sorry. What was that story where they was going to kill him?
Oh, that's Saul.
Okay.
And Samuel took him out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And Samuel took him out.
Yeah, Sam.
He just had the same name. I told y'all that last night. What that nigga said about Esau and Jacob. That joint pissed me off. Man, this nigga said right. Because they were saying that, they trying to prove Esau not the white man, which I don't care about. But nigga was like, Jacob was a Poindexter. Y'all know what it say Jacob is a plain man. Y'all remember the Hebrew word for plain man that was used there?
That was perfect.
It was a word for perfect. It was Tamaim or Tom. He took that plain man and saying Jacob was a nerd. So he was like, backpack glasses, quiet, nerdy type of dude. See, he was like, Caleb was an Edomite. He was a goon. See, you got to keep them goons with you. He was a thug. He was a gangster. I said, this nigga here, wow. You know what I'm saying? Because it tells you, what does the book tell you was the difference between Caleb and Joshua for everybody else? They had a different spirit on them. Ain't had nothing to do because he was no Edomite. Because you know why I'm mentioning that? Because flesh and blood can't enter the kingdom. Ain't got nothing to do with no your nationality, no blood going through your vein. He had a different breath in him. So I mean, he had a different life in him or a different mind in him. Had nothing to do with his daddy being no Edomite. That junk was irrelevant. When I heard that one there, I said, I can't never listen to Cuz talk about no word. That just was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really don't know what you talking about. But you know the reason why that's important? Somebody gonna go to hell for believing that because they gonna repeat it. You know what I'm saying? They gonna sit back and say, they not even gonna take the time to realize that it said Jacob was a perfect man dwelling in tents. And guess what we supposed to be? Perfect men dwelling in tents. You know what I'm saying? He was letting you know what type of man Jacob was. What does Jacob's name mean, right? Heel catcher or supplanter. So what did Yahushua do? He supplanted Adam because he replaced him. You know what I'm saying? So because he replaced him, that made him to be a perfect man dwelling in a tent. The book is in the law telling you got to be perfect, and niggas telling you can't be upright and have integrity. How you gonna sit back and let somebody tell you not to be a man or woman of integrity? You know what I'm saying? Sit back and think about that. When somebody tells you can't be perfect, you telling me I can't have integrity. I would never trust you, because you ain't got no integrity. Because you know what integrity is? It's doing the right thing irregardless of situation and circumstances, whether people are watching or not. I'm going to do what's just and upright every single solitary time. And when you tell me I can't be perfect, you just told me you're not to be trusted. That's what you just told me. You know what I'm saying? But you only can understand that when you know the word, because we take perfect as being something of what these Anglo-Saxons have told you what it is. When Yah has told you, it just means you are upright. Blameless. You're supposed to be blameless. We didn't ask this question. What's so hard about keeping the Shabbat? Nothing. It's 24 hours out of 178. You have 154 hours to do whatever you want. 144 hours, excuse me, to do whatever you want. You mean to tell me you can't set aside? You mean to tell me 24 hours is killing you? You can't love Yah if 24 hours is killing you. And you got 144 hours to do whatever it is you want to do. 144. This man ain't asking but for 24 hours of complete and utter devotion to him. That ain't a lot to ask. He ain't asking you a lot. I feel like that's an even swap, no swindle. What's hard about not sleeping with another man's wife? What's hard about keeping your plans up if you're not married? What's hard about that? What's hard about not lying? What's hard about not stealing? What's hard about loving another individual the same way that you want somebody to do you? What's hard about that? There's nothing difficult about any of that. And this is what people are telling you not to do, that you can't do. What's hard about not sleeping with a goat? Who can't control themselves to not sleep with a goat? Like, I'm really sitting there and think about what these people are telling you you can't do. You know what I'm saying? What's so hard about not killing an individual out of spite, malice, hatred, or anger? What is hard about that? Nothing. What's hard about respecting your mother and father? What is hard about that? What's hard about not coveting what someone else has? Do you know what I'm saying? What is difficult? What's hard about not going against the natural order of nature? Whether it's sexual or whether it's roles that Yah has set. What's hard about that? There's something hard about that. So when people are telling you this, you got to really sit back and think, because we didn't know what was contained in the word or what he would this is stuff that the average person wouldn't be doing anyway. It's only about a handful of things that the average person will be doing. Whoremongering, committing adultery, lying, and stealing. You know what I'm saying? As fourth is unclean and clean meat. That's a light thing.
Niggas do that stuff to survive.
Straight up. Those are the things that's it. Okay, I used to preach in the street a lot. I ain't did it in years. And the number one thing I used to hear from the majority of the young men is, boy, I want to knock something down. That was their issue for the most part. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard not to put the liquor down. It's not hard to stop smoking weed. I remember dudes like, smoking weed is spiritual. Nigga, that's your flesh want that weed, nigga. Ain't nothing spiritual about putting smoke in your lungs. Is you serious? How many of y'all done went through the law and you seen something in there, you be like, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. My point is out. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing, but see, it wasn't that. It's a difference from this ain't hard to not do versus I don't want to stop doing it. You see, there's a difference from that. See, it's very hard when you don't want to stop. It seems like the most difficult thing in the world. Why do you think a lot of drug addicts have a hard time stop getting high? Because they don't want to stop. Why do you think a lot of dudes who whoremongers have a problem not cheating on their wife? Because they don't want to stop. Because you're selfish. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, you need to go lay down because you're tired. You need your rest. You know what I'm saying? That it's not hard. It's not hard. If you want that bucket of water poured out on you so you can be chilling in some seas, I bet you stop. What makes one person who's righteous and the other person who's unrighteous? What's the difference between the two? Just one thing. Belief. Because if you believe it, then you're going to stick to the plan. I don't care if it's a natural thing. See, when you know it's the same thing. You know why most people stop lifting weights and stop doing training programs? Because they ain't trust the process, because they wasn't getting the results in the time they wanted to get them. All you had to do was stick with it and you would have seen the results, but you was impatient. You wanted what you wanted right then. Ain't nothing in life worth having come like that. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because you come from a society that subliminally and overtly imparts instant gratification. So you get impatient. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't came yet, I'm going to go to something else. And then usually when it ain't came yet and you went to something else, you got in a worse situation because you couldn't wait on what was actually going to come because you wanted it right then. You know what I'm saying? A lot of dudes done got jammed up and in the grave for being impatient. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. Matter of fact, that junk we were talking about with that lady on Ayanla who lied and talking about her kids was getting molested by their daddy came from impatience because she couldn't wait it out because her husband worked a lot. So I wanted to get somebody else, and you put yourself in a position you ain't want to be in because you couldn't wait. You know what I'm saying? Because I want what I want right now. And if you don't give me what I want right now, then I'm going to go do what I want. And now you're in a worse position because the person you wanted to be with is gone. And now you tell a bold-faced lie that affects multiple generations of your family because you couldn't be patient. You see how serious that is? That's dangerous. Verse 8, though. Elohim brought him forth out of Mizraim. He has it with the strength of a unicorn. He shall eat up the nations, his enemies, and shall break their bones and pierce them through with arrows. Now, I'm going to get you Revelation 14 because y'all should know what that sounds like. What that sound like? Now, ain't no 144,000. It said Elohim brought him forth out of Mizraim, and he shall eat up the nations, his enemies. And he'll break their bones. That's Mashiach coming back. Wreck shop on these niggas. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, you want that size of the north? Oh, I got you. I got you. I'm glad I just turned around and checked that. I got you. How many of y'all went and read Psalms 48? Yeah, I figured no one would. I figured you would. I said last night if you want to know what the size of the north at, would go read Psalm 48. Certainly did. Yeah, you read?
I don't remember hearing you saying that.
I certainly did.
I don't remember saying, but that size of the north, that's what
I didn't want to. I'm finna get my man's ass for. I got you. Got you. You should know, because we done dealt with it before. We only pull it out when we talking about Lucifer. That's the only time we pull it out. It's the only time when it's relevant. Well, not the only time, but that's the only time we pull it out. 14 and 14. Revelation 14 and 14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another Malachine came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in your sickle and reap, for the time is come for you to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another Malachine came out of the temple, which is in Shamahim, and he having a sharp sickle. And another Malachine came from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust your sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the Malachine thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of Elohim. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horses' bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Now let me ask you a question. It said the nations his enemies. Who are Yahusha's enemies? I'm talking about in the terms of the, let me get clever. In the terms of book of Revelation, who his enemies are? Huh? No, they ain't. Yeah, in reality, yeah. Ones who follow the beast, right? Because what did it say the beast was going to do? Gather all the nations to go to war with him. So what you seeing Balaam prophesy on in Numbers 24, he's telling you about Hamashiach returning. He's telling you about Armageddon. Now, is Armageddon a war or a location? It's a location. So he's telling you what he's seen in this location. Armageddon in reality in Hebrew would be what? What would it be called in our tongue? It wouldn't be called Armageddon. That's what it's called in the Greek. Of a king of Israel. Jehoshaphat. It's the valley of Jehoshaphat. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's seeing. I just want y'all to remember that you hear Armageddon, you should just automatically think in your head, valley of Jehoshaphat. Because Joel 3 told you about that. Bring him to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Or the valley of decision is what Joel's called it. Why is it the valley of decision? Because replace the word decision with what? Judgment. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm going to judge. And I'm going to take all y'all out. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, he said, if Elohim brought him out of Mizraim with the strength of a unicorn, what happened when you came out of Egypt? The Egyptians were crashed. What's happening when you coming out of this? Because remember, did he crash Babylon when you came out of captivity? No, he did not crash them. He didn't do nothing to them. He didn't do nothing to the Medes and Persians. He did something to them later, but he didn't do nothing to them then. But when you come out of this one, he's smashing everybody. See, everybody wants to say he's going to destroy America. He ain't just destroying America. He's destroying everybody. This ain't got nothing to do with no America. Shoot, France got to get it. Europe got to get it. Whoever against me got to get it. That's what happens when you take crafty counsel. See, you got to understand something. See, they say, and indeed he said they took crafty counsel against your people. But in reality, they were taking crafty counsel against him. So he say, sit back. Yeah, you think you're doing it. Remember, if you did it to the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. You got to remember that. That's what people missing. If they did it to you, they did it to him. That's why you ain't got to get nobody back. That's why you say, vengeance is mine. You'll catch yours on the back end. I guarantee you that. But see, you got to believe the word to know that, to have that restraint and that calm. Because you're going to be mad when people do stuff to you. But what did he tell you in Luke? Offenses must come. But he said destruction to him who the offenses come. He said offenses going to come. People are going to offend you. I done had people tell me they didn't think when you get in the word nobody was going to offend you. I'm like, nigga, what? What type of virtual reality did you have in your brain? You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with people. People get on each other's nerves. They do stuff people don't like. That happens. It's how you deal with it is the important part. If you don't have the mercy and forgiveness in you, you're going to go to hell. And why go to hell over something that ain't that serious other than say, you know what, I forgive you. It's okay. I didn't appreciate it. I told you how I felt. You apologized. You repented. It's cool. What's hard about that? Ain't nothing hard about that. What's hard about it is pride. That's what's hard about it. I hold grudges. Well, hold them to hell because the law told you don't hold no grudge against your brethren. Cold to take it with you to hell then. Because don't our law say don't bear no grudge against your brethren of you? That's what it say. So when you do that, you sin, and guess what? You done gave the law strength. Now you got to go to hell. And why do that over stuff that's simple that you don't have to perish for? You don't have to perish for that. You know what I'm saying? Now I can tell you the biggest thing that people lack is faith. That's the biggest thing that people lack. That's the biggest hindrance. But nevertheless, about verse 9. Look at how it come back, right? Look how it come back what we talked about in Genesis 12 last night, and it keep coming right. Number 24 and 9. Number 24 and 9. Right? Number 24 and 9. Make sure I ain't missed nothing on here. Okay. He say he couched, he laid down as a lion, and as a great lion. Who shall stir him up? Who knows where that's at in the law? That's Genesis 49. When it said the same thing about Judah in Genesis 49, the niggas telling you that's the American Negro. No, sir. And then it said, who will stir him up? Who gonna stir Mashiach up? His father gonna stir him up. Listen to the next thing it say, right? Blessed is he that blessed thee, and cursed is he that cursed thee. We talked about that last night, didn't we? When did them people curse him? When did they curse him? When they killed him. They cursed be the man that hang on the tree. The minute they put him on the tree, they cursed him. They cursed him. So guess what? He got to turn around. And what does the law say? He that sheds man's blood. Did you know I heard a nigga say that about that dude that's supposed to kill that girl over there? He that sheds man's blood. By man, his blood must be shed. And all I'm thinking to myself is, you nigga love to screen, don't judge, and we can't be perfect. Where is he that without sin cast the first stone now? Where's that at now? Because where the mercy at? Because when you bust that nigga upside with that rock, this no one coming back for you.
He had mercy. See, he got mercy.
Ain't that's what the nigga said? He always telling people they going to hell. He always telling people they going to hell. He don't show no mercy. But in a real life situation, you were ready to take this man's life. I just hope that you know your life need to go next.
Yeah.
I just hope you know that. You know what I'm saying? I just hope you know that. Your life need to go next. And then when the nigga take your life, then he need to take, the next person need to take his till ain't nobody left. That's why the book says in Psalms 130, if I'm not mistaken, if he was the number of iniquities, who shall stand? But there's forgiveness with him that he might be feared. Because if he was the number of sins, ain't nobody standing. That's what these dumb niggas be forgetting about. You know what I mean? But real talk though. If he was the number of sins, all us dead. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. Because everybody got a sin they committed. You like to say, he could go through every sin you want, raise your hand if you ain't do it. Some people had a hand down, but then guess what? You're going to get the one and you're going to raise your hand up. Kill it. And you're like, dang, I was good on the first 15. He got me on number 16. Niggas dumb. But always be talking bad about Christians. You know the word part I hate by the brute? When you go to talking about, boy, you can't be sinning, then they go to talking like Christians. Where's the mercy at, brother? Where's the mercy? See, he had the grace, brother. There ain't no just man upon the earth, brother. We got to keep it to the best of our ability. Man, miss me with all that, my nigga. And then talk to them people about that nonsense then. You feel me? Leave them people alone if you're not going to hold the same standard that you're trying to push on them people. You know what I'm talking about? Because guess what? Buddy going to go to hell if y'all don't forgive him. I can't say if y'all going to forgive him or not. I don't have that ability or authority to do that. I know the sin that he committed, if he did it, because I wasn't there. There's no witnesses to confirm it. You know what I'm saying? We need to, see, I want y'all to remember something too. One witness ain't enough. If one nigga come tell you somebody did something or said something, you can't go on that alone and say that's what happened. I don't care who it was who told you. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you choose to approach the situation or confront it, that's your prerogative. But if somebody came and say, Lisa, your husband cheating on you. One person told you that, that witness ain't true. Because according to our law, if that person came and said that, he could die for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm using it in that term. He could die for that. So if that person, that's why I say one witness ain't enough. You think one person should be enough to get a man life took? What? False witness ride right on up. You know what I'm talking about? One person ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff Bruce be going off of. A woman will come out and say, this man did this to me. And I'm not saying he ain't do it. But I'm not just finna go off of that and judge this person because you said he did it. Because out the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, a matter must be established. That's not established because you said it. Now, if 2 or 3 other people come up and say you did it, That person did that to you. According to our law, I can't turn around and say, I don't believe them niggas, they lying. I can't do that. I got to take that as a true witness according to the law. When they killed, what's his name? What's the name of the dude Ahab them killed? We did talk about it last week. What's his name? Escaped my mind. Nevertheless, I can't remember his name right now. How many, they went and got 2-3 witnesses to lie on that man though? You know what I'm saying? Because shoot, as wicked as Jezebel was, she knew the law. She knew it well enough she needed a couple people. Stinking slut, huh? You know how dirty that is to kill a man like that? She was already killing prophets. She was dirty whore. Verse 10, and Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam, and he smote his hands together. Balak said unto Balaam, I said, call thee to curse my enemies, and behold, you altogether bless them these 3 times. Therefore now flee you to your place. I thought to promote you unto great honor, but lo, you who have kept you back from honor. Balaam said unto Balak, spake I not to your messengers which sent unto me, saying, if Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the commandment of Yahuwah to do either good or bad of my own mind. But what Yahuwah say, that will I speak. Now behold, I go unto my people. Come therefore, and I will advertise to thee what this people shall do to your people in the latter days. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam the son of Beor hath said, the man whose eyes are open have said, he have said, which heard the words of Elohim and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance but having his eyes open. I shall see him, but not now, and shall behold him, but not nigh, and there shall come a star out of Jacob. In Hebrew, the word star means what? What is it representative of? The definition. Sons of Elohim. So he see the son of God coming out of Jacob. And a scepter shall rise out of Yasharal. Same thing that's in Genesis 49. And shall smite the corners of Moab and destroy the children of Seth. And Edom shall be a possession. Seir shall also be a possession for his enemies, and Yasharal shall do valiantly. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion and destroy him that remain in the city. Let me show you something in Micah. It said him that's going to have dominion. Okay, little sugar baby. Come over here to the book of Micah. I want to say chapter 4. See if y'all remember this one here. I got to crank it up a notch to get everybody's requests. Let me sure I'm in the right spot. Yeah, Micah 4. I got to make sure I'm in the right spot. Oh, there we go. Micah 4 and 6. In that day, saith Yahuwah, I will assemble her that halt, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted. And I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast off far off a strong nation. Yahuwah shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth, even forever. Ain't that's what it said in Luke chapter 1? He'll rule over the house of Jacob forever and ever, and his kingdom ain't going to have no end, right? Now, after we finish this Bible 4, I'm going to show you something in Psalm 73, if I'm not mistaken. If it ain't Psalm 73, it's Psalm 72. And you, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion. The kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem. What does he mean when he says, in a come to you, the first dominion? What does that mean? Who remembers what that means?
Like the firstborn son, they get the first inheritance.
To a certain extent, but he said first dominion. So this first rule.
Go to the other dominion.
I don't know. Remember, look at it again. Look at it again, right? He said, unto you shall it come, even the first dominion. The kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem. And let's go with what we just read in Numbers 24. Something that we read in the beginning. First by verse, what? By verse 4 or 5?
What's that? The first dominion? That's not the kingdom of heaven?
Oh, he said, no, he said, I'm going to give you the first dominion. What is the first dominion?
Heaven and earth.
Oh, the tree, like.
No, that's the Garden of Eden. Take you back to Adam. Adam had first dominion, did he not? Did he not give dominion? Yeah. Didn't he get, that's what it said in Genesis 1, right? He gave him dominion over everything, right? Let's check it. Let's just check it. Let's just check it. Let's make sure we right. Let's see what the law say. Let's verify it and make sure we on the right track. Genesis chapter 1. You may pick up the right verse, right. About verse 24. No, about verse 27. Well, we can make it 26. Genesis 1 and 26. Elohim said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creep upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image. The image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. And Elohim baruched them. Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that move upon the earth. So Adam, we can see from the law, according to what's in Micah, he had the first dominion. So what did he have dominion over? He had dominion over what? The Garden of Eden. We already know in the book of Isaiah, he said he would make New Jerusalem like what? The Garden of Eden. So who is this that's going to have that, going back to the first dominion? You see that the second Adam is going to have dominion over the same thing that the first Adam relinquished. You know what I'm talking about? Because everything, that's what I said, to go back to Numbers 24. We read about the rivers and the trees and this, that, there, and the third. Because Jerusalem going to be like the Garden of Eden, and the second Adam going to have that rule over it. And he told you, if you suffer with him, what you going to be able to do? Reign with him. So you'll have dominion over it as well. Let's see if Psalm 73 tell you about a little reign. That's why you can say the kingdom of heaven, or you'll see they'll say the reign of heaven or the rulership. Psalm 72, actually. It's Psalm 72. It ain't Psalm 73. Psalm 72 and 1. And also we showing you that we know that we're not grabbing a whole bunch of stuff out of the New Testament. We just mentioning it because you should already know it, because you should be able to piece this together without going in the New Testament. Meaning that you should be able to read about Yahushua with the same veracity reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John by reading Genesis to Malachi. You should still be able to get that same feel. You should still be able to get the same feel because it's the same thing. It's not anything different. It appears to be different, but it's not different. Because all of them are bearing witness to what this man was going to do or suffer before he actually came and did it. So that when he came and did it and you saw him, then you would believe. Psalm 72 and 1. Give the king your judgments, O Elohim, and thy righteousness unto the king's son. When did Yahushua make that statement? He said, give your judgments to the king. When did he say it? Because he said it. King, you're being rude and disrespectful and truculent. King, look at me, son. King, stop talking. Thank you, sir. The cooperation is much appreciated. He said, give the king your judgments. Yahushua said something of this nature. Do y'all know what he said or where he said it? I'll take either or.
He said, give Caesar Caesar. So that ain't just.
Anybody know? Going once? You know? Twice? John chapter 5. John chapter 5, verse 19. Then Yahushua and then answered Yahushua and said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you, the Son could do nothing of himself, but what he see the Father do. For whatso things soever he do, these also do the Son likewise. For the Father loved the Son, and show him all things that himself do, and he will show him greater works than these, that you may marvel. For as the Father raised up the dead and quickened them, even so the Son quickened whom he will. The Father judged no man, but have committed all judgment unto the Son. Who else committed all the judgment unto the Son and didn't judge no man? David. Boom. Do you see that? And that should go along, because Psalm 72 is a psalm for Solomon. If you got that in most of y'all books, that's what it say at the top. Come on back to Psalm 72. Now, how did he give the king? How did righteousness was given to the king's son? How was righteousness given to the king's son? What is righteousness? And how do you obtain it? So, faith. So if you got faith, and that's the righteousness of the king, then what is it that was given to the king's son? The Ruach HaKodesh. That's what was given to him. He gave his judgments and he gave his breath. Look at verse 2. He shall judge the people with righteousness and the poor with judgment. The mountains shall bring shalom to the people, little hills by righteousness. He shall judge the poor of the people. He shall save the children of the needy and shall break in pieces the oppressor. They shall fear you as long as the sun and moon endure throughout all generations. And he shall come down like rain mown upon the grass, as showers that water upon the earth. In his days shall the righteous flourish, and the abundance of shalom so long as the moon endure. And he shall have dominion also from sea to sea, and from river unto the ends of the earth. You don't think Yahushua gonna have that type of dominion? But hold on, let's look at Zechariah chapter 9, because he's gonna tell you about it too. Zechariah 9 and 9. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, your king come unto you. He is just and having salvation, lowly, riding upon an ass, and upon the colt of a foal of an ass. And I will cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off, and he shall speak shalom unto the heathen. And his dominion shall be from the sea even to sea, and from the rivers even to the ends of the earth. Let me ask y'all a question. Why did Hamashiach, when Hamashiach fulfilled this and riding in that on that colt, and they were screaming Hosanna and all that there, why do you think it had to show him coming into Jerusalem like that? Why do you think that had to be walked out in that fashion? Because it was a precursor to something. Why do you think they had to show the king of Yasharal riding in on a horse, coming into Jerusalem? Not just to fulfill the book, but why do you think that because in that instance, he didn't cut off no battle. He didn't cut off Ephraim. He didn't speak no peace to no heathen either. Usually when a king come into his city on a horse, it's to show that he's done what? He done conquered it. You know what I'm saying? So when you see them coming in and then you see the people doing what? As you see this conquering king come out, they rejoicing and they happy. Remember what we just read in Jeremiah 33 last night when he said you're going to hear the voice of what? The bride. The voice of joy. What you think you gonna be doing when you see this man ride? Don't the book say he coming on a white horse? And where he coming on that white horse at? Jerusalem. And what he gonna do? We just read in number 24. He said, I'm gonna smash all my enemies. Then I'm gonna speak shalom to the heathen. They'll sit their butt down somewhere. But that's the showing you of a conquering king. He didn't get dominion from sea to sea in one end of the earth or the other when he rode in that horse in John or in Matthew. But he gonna get it on the back end. And that's what that's showing you. But how was he able to get that kingdom on the back end? Because he had to be hanged from that tree first. He couldn't get that level of dominion without being hung first. You can't get it unless you be hung first. He suffered to get that king. People always use that term, that phrase, right? You got to pay the cost to be the boss and all that type of stuff because they're really talking about the suffering and the pain that it takes. Yes. Yes. Very well then. Yes, I knew you were about to do that. It takes a lot of suffering and pain to achieve something great. Like he said, he'll be called great and be called the son of the highest. You got to go through something to achieve something. You know what I'm saying? You have to pay the necessary costs and make the necessary sacrifices in order to achieve. Yeah. I don't know why you're trying to eat the wall, but I don't think you should do that anymore. Yes, just come with me. I'm not scared of you. You need to come with me. You need to come with me. You got to think about that. He was willing to suffer. Remember what it said in Corinthians? Through this man's poverty, we were able to be made rich. A lot of people are not willing to make the sacrifices necessary to achieve what needs to be achieved. He did. You don't have to die to get what he got. All you got to do is die to your own desires. Nobody's going to hang you from a tree, literally. I don't know why you're doing this right now, but I got you. I got you. You weren't ready for that. Come on back to number 24. Stop, little baby. And that's a glass, and you're not going to break it. So, yes, you're not going to break the glass. Verse 20. Yeah, verse 19. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion and destroy him that remain of the city. Who is he that remains of the city that he's going to destroy? That would be the beast and the false prophet. I got to get you out of here. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. And he looked on the Kenites and took up his parable and said, strong as thy dwelling place, you put thy nest in a rock. Nevertheless, the Kenites shall be wasted, until Ashur shall carry thee away captive. And, yeah, I remember when we did this one here too. He said, he took up this parable and said, alas, who shall live when Elohim do this? Ask yourself, who's going to live when he does this? This real question. Who's going to live when he does this? Only those who got the Ruach HaKodesh going to live when he do it. Let me show you why. Pause. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1. Also, in the book of Ezekiel, and it say the same thing in the book of Revelation. In the book of Ezekiel chapter 8, when he sent the Malachim through, he told him to kill everybody. Who were the ones he told him not to kill? The ones with the mark. In the book of Revelation, he say before you destroy anything, he say don't destroy nobody who got the what? The mark is symbol of what? Or the covenant. So nobody who got the covenant in him, y'all not touching you. He ain't gonna do nothing to you. But boy, that's some strong word. But you know, people love to talk about, see, you gotta talk about you gotta wake the people up and teach them their nationality. You gonna know your nationality and go to hell with it. What good is that gonna do you? You knew you was an Israelite, but you going to hell knowing that. That served you a big purpose. That served you a big purpose all the way around the board. We got to want more for our soul than that. I know I'm an Israelite. All right. You want to be a son of Elohim, that don't do you no good. Look at what he say, right? 2 Thessalonians chapter 1. I pick it up at verse 3. He said, we are bound to thank Elohim always for you, brethren, as it is meet, because your faith grow exceedingly, and the love of every one of you all towards each other abound. So that we ourselves esteem in the houses of Elohim for your patience and faith and all your persecutions and tribulations that you endure, which is a manifest token of the righteous judgment, that you be counted worthy of the kingdom of Elohim, for which you also suffer. See, a little bit of trouble and a little bit of persecution is a manifest token or a sign. That is an open sign that Yah has chosen you for his kingdom. That's an open sign. Most people don't even realize that, right? You'll have some people do just like that. Oh, he ain't prospering. See, God ain't with him. See, we got the blessings. Because they focus on Deuteronomy 28, which is true. But if you take on putting on Hamashiach, then guess if you put on Hamashiach, it's two things come along with that. Persecution and suffering. That's two things come along with that. You know what I'm saying? And suffering doesn't necessarily have to be financial suffering. You know what I'm saying? But suffering come along with that. It come along with that. How you gonna make it in the kingdom and not suffer for it, and the man whose kingdom it is, he suffered to get it, but you're not going to suffer to get it? That doesn't make any sense. Does that make sense? No, it don't make no sense. He says, seeing is a righteous thing to Elohim to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. And to you who are troubled, rest with us, when the Lord Yahushua shall be revealed from Shamahim with his mighty Malachim, in flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not Elohim, and that obey not the Basar of our Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord, and from the esteem of his power. When he shall come to be esteemed in his chesed, and to be admired in all them that believe, because our testimony among you was believed in that day. So the only people that's not going to affect is the what? The ones that believe. Because if you don't believe, you're out of here. You're out of here. We good in Numbers 24. Let's take a trip. What was we had to grab? We probably going to get Ezekiel 27. I say that for another day. Let's go ahead and grab this Habakkuk chapter 1. Matter of fact, Hosea 7, because I just opened my book straight to it. So I'm going to just do Hosea 7. Hosea 7 and 1. He said, when I would have healed Yasharal, the iniquity of Ephraim was discovered. and the wickedness of Samaria. For they commit falsehood, and the thief come in, and the troop of robbers spoil without. And they consider not in their hearts that I remember all their wickedness. Now their doings have beset them about, and they were before my face. And that verse 1, what does he mean? They commit falsehood, and the thief come in, and a troop of robbers spoil it. Oh yeah, they definitely didn't have that. But I'm talking about in reference to the testimony. It says a thief comes in, troop of robbers spoil it. The thief is Judas. Yea, they're the robbers. See, slide over just one chapter. Just one chapter. Chapter 6, what my verse at? Verse 8, verse 9 actually, right? As a troop of robbers wait for a man, so the company of the priests murder in the way, and by consent, for they commit lewdness. So when they say they consent, they agreed to it. Can we not go read Matthew 26 where they agreed to it? Can we not see in Proverbs 26 and about verse 23 when a man comes flatter and don't believe him because he got 7 what in his heart? So you can already see that. And that would be what? A just man falls 7 times and rise again because he fell into falsehood. Or he fell into men devising wicked imaginations. People feet swift to run into evil. People sowing discord among brethren. Shedding innocent blood. A proud look. A lying tongue. And the 7th one escapes me at this time.
What that Luke said? Oh, I see it. All right, yeah.
So you see how they go together, right? In the Hosea 7. You see how they did that, right? He said he would have healed Yasharal. The minute he would have healed him, but he said, guess what? They telling lies. What was the falsehood they committed? Hosea 7. If Judas is the thief and the robbers are the priests, what is the falsehood that they've committed? No, I'm talking about what is the falsehood that they committed. But no, I'm talking about the falsehood mean they told a lie. So what lie did they tell?
That's why I said black.
But it's not even that there. They lied and said that he was a malefactor. They lied to get him incarcerated. They went to straight. First when they had the council, what was some of the things that they brought them false witnesses in to lie about? You know, he said this man said he'll destroy the temple and 3 days build it again. And there was something else they said he lied about. That they lied about. That one there too. You know what I'm saying? And then when they brought him under Pilate, they lied again and said if he weren't a malefactor, we wouldn't have brought him. Because they were trying to say that he was trying to get the people to rise up against Caesar.
That's why they were trying to get him involved.
In the first place, there's your falsehood because they telling lies in order to kill him because you let a thief come in. Now the robbers come in. The robbers couldn't come in without the thief. How did the robbers get in? Inside man, the thief. And there's another reason why you see it describes Judas as a what? A thief. And remember what it said in Psalms 50? You consent with who? Well, let's look at it if you don't remember. Psalm 50. See, you already know this here. That's what wicked niggas like to do. Wicked niggas get mad when you turn around and you don't consent with them. You don't vibe with me and my wickedness? No, nigga, I don't vibe with you, nigga. You thought altogether I was like you. I ain't know. Psalm 50. 50 and 17. Matter of fact, make it 50 and 16. He say, but unto the wicked Elohim say, what have you to do to declare my statutes? Or that y'all should take my covenant in your mouth? You see how y'all feel? He said, you wicked niggas, what do you have to do for taking my words in your mouth? Watch what you talking about it for. Look what he say. He say, seeing you hate instruction and you cast my words behind you. He say, when you saw a thief, then you consented with him and has been partakers with adulterers. You give your mouth to evil and your tongue frame deceit. You sit and speak against your brother and you slander your own mother's son. He said, and these things have you done, and I kept silence, though you thought I was altogether such as one of myself, but I will reprove you and set them in order before your eyes. See what he told him? He said, you thought I would like you. That's how them wicked niggas roll. See, when they met Judas, they seen Judas, he one of us. Don't you know if a Mashiach would have got down with their program, they'd have loved him? That's how wicked niggas do. And then you sitting there, you ain't saying nothing, because you going to wait till you check them. See, that's what the brothers on now. You know what I'm talking about? We need to check IUIC. Niggas been going off on IUIC for years. Y'all know what you know what these dudes saying IUIC got people out here doing? Signing NDCs. You don't know what that is? Non-disclosure. Nigga supposed to be in the body of the Lord signing non-disclosure. I ain't gonna talk about what happens here. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna talk about nothing that happens here. Nigga could be shoot. That's what what's the name say they had going on in Atlanta that he made them niggas swear not to talk about what he make them sign no NDC, but he might as well. You got to slide from anywhere with nigga talking about don't talk about what happened here. Well, what y'all finna be in here doing?
They say that first.
What? What y'all finna be? From the jump? Don't say nothing about what go on here. Well, what y'all in here doing? Having cold sacrifices? Y'all having order? What y'all in here doing? Ben Ami, yeah. Who Yahweh Ben Yahweh?
Yeah.
Don't talk about what go on here. Like what y'all got me thinking when I walk out of this room, everybody gonna be in here butt naked. Talking about let's have a party. Don't talk about what's going on in here. Is y'all tricking? Y'all selling drugs? What y'all doing? I'm not signing this. This ain't right. But 9 times out of 10, individuals do that because they're more concerned with their image. They're trying to protect their image. But like what I read last night, right? In Matthew, what Yahushua told his apostles to do? Leave them alone. If they blind, leaders of the blind, then if the leaders be blind, then the people blind, and they all gonna fall. You notice that there? You know why I mentioned that there? Because you know how a lot of our people feel. We got to get our people out of these camps. We got to get our people out of these camps. Maybe that's where they supposed to be. We got to get our people out of these churches. Maybe that's where they supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean that you wouldn't deliver them the word, but maybe that's where they supposed to be. Because he definitely said they be blind leaders of the blind. He said what? Leave them alone. Ain't that what he said? Leave them niggas alone then. You can't do nothing for them. How you going to open the sight of somebody who is determined to keep their eyes shut? How you going to open their eyes? Everybody in here know it. You probably done did it yourself. If it was something you didn't want to do and somebody kept trying to get you to do it, you resisted 1,000 times harder when they kept coming at you about it because you didn't want it. You resisted. You're going to get stronger in your pride and dig your feet in and be like, no. See me, I'm like this here. I told you no the first time. You can ask all you want. I will ignore you after that. I'm not even going to respond because nigga, I said no the first time because now I feel like you're trying me. You know what I'm saying? And not to feel that way, I'm going to just depart. But people like to say, we got to get them out. How y'all still believe these charts and believe this here? Because they blind and they lead us blind. So that means y'all want them all to fall in the ditch. So you think you going to trump y'all's will because you think all us supposed to be saved? Some niggas supposed to go to hell. How else you going to know this man powerful and to be feared if somebody don't go? Oh, only the nation's going. Oh, I get it. Oh, I get it. That's what it is. That's comforting. The niggas you don't like gonna get it. Because it's never the niggas. Like this here, man, look here, man. I love all my people. And just like Paul stated, I feel the same way. My heart's desire is that all Yasharal be saved. But at the same token, there are vessels made to honor and there are vessels made under dishonor. And there are vessels made that people may know the mercy and goodness of Yahuwah. And there are vessels made that they may know that this man ain't nobody to be played with. Period. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. And I don't make that determination. So if I see a nigga following a stupid teacher, you think I'm finna break my neck to stop that nigga from listening? You can't do it. I'm gonna tell him how many times. First admonition, second admonition, third one reject. I told you 3 times. You straight, nigga. Burn in hell with gasoline drawers on, my nigga. I could care less. Do backflips in it. You know what I'm saying? Wear kerosene jackets, all that. You know what I'm saying? Keep wicks in your pocket. You can't do nothing about that. It sounds harsh though, don't it? Like, dang, they don't care. Shoot. That's what your Savior said. Ain't that what he said? He said leave him alone, right? Leave him alone then. You know what I'm saying? Don't chase them people down. He also told you if somebody didn't want to receive your testimony, what else he told you to do? Dust your feet off. Ain't finna be begging no girl. Man, that's sucker stuff. Every woman in here know if a nigga went to begging them, they'll lose attraction for him. This nigga begging? That joint sound good when you listen to Keith Sweat. That joint sound good when Jodeci talking about I'm crying for you, come back home. But if a nigga do it in real life, you're going to be like this here. Oh, this nigga soft. You know what I'm saying? Baby, come back, please. I'm begging. You be like, I bet you is begging. Bop. You don't fool with it because that's weak. You know what I'm saying? That's weak. And when you do that, you make Yahuwah look weak. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that you don't extend the hand of saying of reconciliation. There's a difference from extending the hand of reconciliation and begging. Yahuwah is not begging anyone. he will extend a hand of reconciliation without question. That hand is out. He said, come on and grab it now so we can be back one. Because I don't want to be separated from you. That's not my desire. But he ain't finna chase you and beg you, though. Baby, come back. No, he ain't finna do all that. He said, oh, you don't want to come back? Bam, he gonna shut the door. Don't he say he got a key that no man can open it, and he got a door once he shut it, can't no man close? He got a key, no, he got a door that no man can close, and once he shut it, can't nobody open it. That man ain't finna beg nobody to come serve him. You know what I'm saying? Imagine that though, right? If somebody kept begging you to serve Yah, would that make you serve him? Not at all. Because you know why? Because you're not going to look at that person as weak. You're going to look at their God as weak because you look at they desperate and that they need that validation of having a person to serve them, a person to be with them. And you're going to, it's just natural human nature. That's what's going to click in your brain consciously or subconsciously. You're going to be turned off. I don't want nothing to do with that. But if the individual hit you with it, oh, I'm not interested. All good. You slide off, they see you again. You know what I'm saying? They might mention to you again. They might not say nothing. Might cause you to be intrigued. But y'all ain't begging nobody. And no human being should never beg anybody to do nothing. Especially shouldn't beg nobody to be with you. You know what I'm saying? Sit back and look at that. Y'all begging us to be with him. Please be my wife. I'm begging you, please. Yahushua didn't beg him when he was in the flesh, did he? He ain't begging them people. Beg them for what? He said, follow me, and they followed him. Some heard him and believed. Some didn't. Verse 2. He said, oh, and we already read that one now. Verse 3. He said, they make the king glad with their wickedness and the princes with their lies. They're all adulterers as an oven, heated by the baker, who ceased from raising. He have kneaded the dough until it be leavened. And what did Paul tell you? A little leaven do what? A little leaven, leaven it the whole lump. So he's sitting here describing sin to you. He's describing these people full of sin. In the days of our kings, the princes have made him sick with bottles of wine. He stretched out his hand with scorners. Who can tell me where that's at in the gospel? We're going to pull that one. That's an old one, but it's a good one. Who can pull that out the gospel? That is in the gospels. Who knows what it is? I'll read it again. He said, in the day of our king, the princes made him sick with bottles of wine. He stretched out his hand with scorners. No, that's not Matthew 24. That's not in 24. That's in 27.
I forgot where it was at, but you talking about when he sitting with the tax collectors.
No, he just said it when they gave him that vinegar. That wasn't vinegar per se, like apple cider vinegar or white vinegar. They gave him sour wine. That's another place. That's in Lamentation when they say you gave our Nazarites wine to drink. You know what I'm saying? They extended him. It said the day of our king. That's the key point. What you said the day of when in the day of our king did any of the rulers of Yasharal give him some wine? But he said the day of our king you gave him wine to drink. And he stretched out his hand with scorners. Let's sit back and see him with his hand stretched out to scorners. Luke 23. Eugene, ain't nobody scared of you. You better eat your goldfish and be happy. Luke chapter 23, verse 32. That's a big box of goldfish. Luke 23 and 32. And there were also two other malefactors led with him to be put to death. And when they would come to the place which is called Calvary, they crucified him. And the malefactors, the one on the right hand and the other on the left. Then said Yahushua, Abba, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment and cast lots. And the people stood beholding, and the rulers also with them, deriding him, saying, he saved others, let him save himself, if he be a Mashiach, the chosen of Elohim. And the soldiers also mocked him, coming to him, offering him vinegar, and saying, if you be the king of the Yahudim, save yourself. Now see, you'll read right over that and don't even realize that this is that man suffering what it's describing. And it goes back to you priests with that falsehood, with this troop of robbers. And he did all that for our sake. Why y'all think he was drinking sour wine? Because of what's in the book of Isaiah and the book of Ezekiel. They said, I'll show you the proverb. Come over here in Ezekiel 18. I might have been in the wrong place for that. It's definitely not Ezekiel 18. I think it might be 16. Yeah, I got to move forward. It's definitely not in 16. But basically, I can't recall what. Oh, there it is. I'm looking right at it. I'm tripping. 18:1. I was right the first time. Ezekiel 18:1. Say, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, what mean ye that you use this proverb concerning the land of Yasharal, saying, the fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge? As I live, saith Yahuwah Elohim, you shall not have occasion any more to use this proverb in Yasharal. Behold, all souls are mine. As the soul of the Abba, so is the soul of the Ben is mine. The soul that sinned, it shall die. Now, how does that verse 2 relate to what we're looking at with them giving him that sour wine? It says a proverb would be stated in the land of Yasharal. The fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge. What does that mean when they say the children's teeth are set on edge? Set on destruction, for last speak. But you see, now what does he mean when he say that the fathers have eaten sour grapes? No, but that's going back to Yahusha getting that wine, sour grapes. You know what I'm saying? Because the grapes are sour, they usually what? Bitter. You know what I'm saying? Take you back to mixing it with the gall and vinegar, and his death was what? Bitter. Take you back to what you supposed to, during, and a lot of brews still do it, during Passover, what you supposed to make? Bitter herbs. And what was the bitter herbs representative of? No, I'm talking about what were the bitter herbs representative of according to the law. It tells you why you had the bitter herbs. Because you were supposed to be remembering your bitter bondage that you've had in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? We were with somebody at their Passover and they had bitter herbs. We ain't never made no bitter herbs. You know what I'm saying? Don't have no plans on doing it. Because if you're going to make the bitter herbs, make sure you get you a firstborn lamb and you roast them well now. And ain't nobody doing all that. You know what I'm saying? And you better make sure you put that blood on your dough. If you're going to do one part, you got to do all of it. You know what I'm saying? See, that's what dudes be looking at. We got our lamb. Nigga, that nigga could have a fifth-born son. It could be a female. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know. You just felt like you supposed to be eating some lamb. It's some brews really slaughter lambs, and it was a brew that they said they put blood on the doorpost. I said, boy, I know them people call the police on y'all. You know what I'm saying? Putting blood on the wall. But all jokes aside, though. I'm not joking, though. Niggas really did do that. But, in that regard, you see why he had to get them sour grapes. Because he said it was a proverb in Yasharal, and he said this proverb won't be said no more. Then he said the soul that sinned, it'll die. And then it goes into a just man and what he ought to do. Because once a Mashiach had died and showed he was that just man and resurrected from the dead, y'all not going to be able to say this no more. You know what I'm talking about? You're not going to be able to use this no more. You're not going to be able to speak that. Because what is a proverb? It's the mashal. It's a teaching to what? To pair you to the blood or to pair you to his ruach. And that would pair you to his blood or his sacrifice by saying him drinking his sour grapes. And them trying to give him wine. And that's Lamentations of Jeremiah chapter 4 when they talk about they tried to get a Nazarite wine. Because he was a Nazarite. You trying to give him some wine to drink. You know what I'm talking about? Trying to get him to break his vow. Trying to let him not be sanctified anymore. Nevertheless, back to Hosea chapter 7. Where we at, right? This ain't a long chapter. Which one we got? I got number 24. We got a little Ezekiel 38. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to go. I had to make them quick to get them all. Verse 6. They have made their heart like an oven. If your heart's like an oven, then what is your heart? It's on fire. And what is it on fire with? Anger, jealousy, envy. While they lay in wait. Did they not lie in wait? Their bakers sleep all the night. In the morning it burned as a flaming fire. They're all hot as an oven and have devoured their judges. All their kings have fallen. There is none among them that call unto me. Ephraim, oh man. Oh man, we done dealt with this before. Oh man, they say Ephraim, he have mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. What y'all think that means? What have you been told it means? We done dealt with the speckled bird. This ain't got nothing to do with no people.
Hey, light skin is.
Well, I know what it means.
What it mean then? What it mean then?
No, it was dealing with, if you read the whole chapter, it was dealing with the people's hearts and how wicked their heart was.
I understand, but he said Ephraim have mixed himself among the people. What people did Ephraim mix himself among?
Amongst themselves. That was serving idols and stuff.
Okay, Ephraim is a cake not turned.
Yeah, that was talking about his heart.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I mean, if you read the whole chapter, that's what he was talking about.
I'm talking about in the vein of what we talking about right
say
now.
that he was talking about a Mexican.
I know they do. That's not being funny. Dudes really believe that. But in reality, Ephraim, it said that Hamashiach was amongst his people and they what? Who remembers what the name Ephraim means? It means to be fruitful. In affliction, I was fruitful. So Yahusha has mixed himself amongst the people. How is he a cake not turned? He never turned to the left hand nor to what did the book tell you? Don't go to the left hand or to the right, but stay straight. He stayed firm on the word. You know how we know this? Because look at verse 9. Strangers have devoured his strength, and he know it not. Yea, gray hairs are here and there upon him, yet he know it not. Now how is that a Mashiach? It say gray hairs are on him, and he don't know. How you don't know you got gray hairs? You know you got gray hairs. But why is this important? You know, Brandon, why that's important? You know why that's important? That's what it's stated as. What does the law say you're supposed to do before a man who has a hoary head? Rise up. How does it describe a Mashiach's hair in the book of Revelation? Was his hair white when he was walking the earth? No, it wasn't. So if his hair is white when he walking the earth, he didn't even know he had gray hairs. Why would he have gray hairs? Because he's from what? Everlasting. So that's why he's telling you got gray. How can this man be on the earth with hair color like ours and go into heaven and his hair change color? You know what I'm saying? Like seriously though. Because he's the what? He's the ancient of days. And what's going to happen on the last day when everybody see this man on the throne? Where you think the white folks get that from when you go in the courtroom? What they tell you to do? All rise. He ain't even, why you think in ancient London and the Anglo-Saxon churches, what type of wig them niggas had on? A gray one. Why you think they were copying that? Whether consciously or subconsciously, they were copying your God. Yeah, consciously or subconsciously, they were copying your God. You know what I'm saying? That's why sometimes when I've been in court, I'll be like, man, I don't even want to stand for these Christs. You know what I'm saying? Stand for you for what? I'm only going to do it because I don't feel like arguing with you. Like that before the work, that was going to happen. And most of the time, if you incarcerated, you ain't standing up no way because they don't bring you in the courtroom. You sitting down anyway. You right in the back, shackled up like cattle. You know what I'm saying? But if you in the courtroom, they want you to stand up. That's why a lot of time when they do like I done did this before, like I don't be with all that arguing and all that stuff to try to prove a point. I think I'm somewhere, man, the people playing the national anthem. I know I'm not finna stand. I'm just not finna go out there and sit amongst them people. Because I know I'm not finna stand and I don't feel like arguing with you. You know what I'm saying? See, your pride to sit there. I'm going to sit right here. Them crackers ain't going to say nothing to me. Now I got to cuss out 45 different people at one time. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like going through all that. Why go through all that when I can just stand in the hallway till they finish? That's y'all thing. I'm going to give y'all respect with y'all thing. And I'm going to stay over here with it. That's just wisdom. Why take yourself through that to show you, because you insecure about your masculinity, you feel like you got to sit in here and argue with all these people to prove a point? No, I don't have to do that. I'm not finna, because I know me, and I'm going to get it in with you, Cracker, all day long. You know what I'm saying? I know me. I know my mouth. So why am I going to do that? Because you ain't got but one time to disrespect me, and then I'm going to tell you, your people are savages and brute beasts, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Some of the things that you've done could not be done by human beings. You could not have human DNA to behave yourself in this fashion. And you're worrying me about a national anthem? This ain't my anthem and this ain't my nation. I could care less about it. I would take your flag and defecate and urinate on it at the same time. And after that, after the smell of feces rolls up in my nose, then I would regurgitate upon it. And that's how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't pledging allegiance to nothing. Why would I pledge allegiance to murder, lies, falsehood, idolatry, thievery, and all other type of debauchery? So you mad because I'm sitting down. You know what I mean? I ain't on that, sir. Well, you could just move. I could move. But unfortunately, I was brought here against my will. and you people utterly refuse to acknowledge it. I just seen a nigga was like, you know, they talking about trying to get us reparations. Niggas say, what if Trump got us reparations? He said, niggas would be like, I don't want to take the check because it came from him. I could care less. You cut mine. You cut mine. Every Friday. Guess what? I ain't seen that nigga turn down no income tax check. Talking about you don't like Trump. He over the Department of Treasury. You ain't turned that down. You ain't worth for nothing. Because truth be told, the government just took more than you than what they were supposed to. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? They ain't got to give it back.
I'm just saying, it's still too much work.
But get what though?
You don't work, they can't take it.
You know what I'm saying? But get what though? He could have said, I'm Trump, I'm president. Department of Treasury, we need some money, I'm keeping it. Because get what? He signed the checks for the Treasury Department, the head of the Treasury Department to cut them. So indirectly, he stamped it. I don't care if you work for it or not. Nigga ain't turned that down.
I ain't turned down money from that.
Oh, I turned some money down. Couldn't depend where it comes from. Some stuff turn that down. Shit, I just might not want it. Might not be the thing for me. Sometimes with bread, boy, you gotta know how to say no. You know what I'm saying? Even if it ain't nothing unjust. Might not be the right situation for you. You've been and took some money, got yourself in a situation, you be like, well, I don't want to be in this. Now you're obligated. Yeah, I done turned down some money before. Crackers were hot. So I'll pay you this year. I don't care what you're gonna pay me. I don't want to do it. I'm just saying, ain't nobody giving nothing away for free. It's always something attached to it.
I ain't working for it.
Shoot, you ain't had to work for it. Shoot, you work for it. You still working for it because you being oppressed to this day. Because you know they gave the Jewish people reparations. They gave Japanese people reparations too. You know what they did to the Japanese? Listen. Because you look like you don't know what they did to them. Oh, you don't care what happened to them Japanese people? Why you don't care about them people?
Oh yeah, I care about the people.
You don't care about them people? I don't care about them neither then. But no, they gave them reparations too though. Black people go to talking about reparations, they tell you get over it. No, they ain't really, they flim-flammed them and told them, we'll take all your land and give you a little piece. The Indians sold their convictions out, truth be told, for a chance to build casinos and keep all the money. They didn't give them casinos. What they did is they gave them an opportunity to build casinos to where it would be financially advantageous to them. Like, their tax burden is not that high. Yeah. They gave them a small piece of land and told them you could build casinos. But truth be told, a lot of them Native Americans, niggas, shoot, they had you in bondage too. But that's another conversation for another time. We're going to leave them people alone. Look at verse 10, right? He say the pride of Yasharal testified to his face. And they do not return to Yahuwah Elohim, nor seek him for all of this. Ephraim also is like a silly dove without heart. They call to Mizraim, they go to Assyria. When they shall go, I will spread my net upon them, and I will bring down as the fowls of heaven. I will chastise them as their congregation have heard. That's exactly what he did to the master. Woe unto them, for they have fled from me. Destruction unto them, because they have transgressed against me. Though I have redeemed them, yet they have spoken lies against me. So what is that? Come over here to the book of Judas, epistle of Judas, I should say. Mar, you fake. You seen his eyes? You didn't see his eyes. He's sitting there looking like this. I just want the sandwich. I set my eyes on the sandwich. I ain't sad for real. Give me that sandwich. I'll be happy again. Oh no. Epistle of Jude, verse 14. I ain't know you like Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo snacks. You got Scooby snacks? You been riding the mystery machine, ain't you? Messing with Shaggy. You know what they were doing in the mystery machine, then? Smoking weed. For real. They were smoking weed. That's why, yeah. See, the other three wasn't smoking with Shaggy and Scooby. No, they used to show it like on the cartoon, smoke coming out. They really showed it on the live action movie. That they were getting blowed. Yeah, it was the 70s, definitely. Yeah, they were getting lifted. Every time Scooby, the Scooby and Shaggy always slid off by themselves. And when they came back, they were home. Blow all the time. Verse 14, the Epistle of Jude. And Enoch also, the seven from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord come with 10,000 of his saints to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among all their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and all their hard speeches, which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. Who can think of some of the ungodly speeches that they spoke against Yahushua HaMashiach? What can y'all think that these people said to him that you were like, you know what? That was ungodly. Beelzebub, when they said he cast out devils by Beelzebub, that was ungodly speech. Anybody else got one?
They said something about he wasn't the son of God.
No, they wanted to stone him because he said he was equal with Elohim. He said he was a wine bibber and a glutton. Anybody else can think of anything they said? They said a lot, so. They say, man, this man being a man, how can he forgive sins? But all that junk they were talking against him, it's the same. Why do you think, matter of fact, get this one. Yeah, that one there too, what we just read, scorning and mocking. Come over here to Matthew 12. That's why sometimes you got to make sure you got to put some mirrors on your chin and watch your mouth, because you can get yourself in trouble. Matthew 12 and 34. You must have really wanted them crackers.
He really wanted to.
Oh yeah, they definitely talk trash about him. Yeah, they definitely say that one now. Nah, they definitely like to say, had an issue with him saying he was a son. The other hard speeches they talking about he's sitting down with sinners, and why you got this sinner washing your feet, and we don't know where he come from, but we follow Moses. We Moses disciples. You know what I'm saying? They were selling out strong. But what it is, man? Matthew 12 and 33.
Sit down.
I'll pick it up at 31.
What?
El Facador. That's what you is. Wherefore I say unto you, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto men, but the blasphemy against the Ruach HaKodesh shall not be forgiven unto men. Whosoever speak a word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven him. But whosoever speak against the Ruach HaKodesh, it shall not be forgiven him, neither in this world, neither in the world to come. Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and its fruit corrupt, for the tree is known by its fruit. O generation of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? For of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. A good man out of the good treasure of the heart bring forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure bring forth evil things. But I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by your words you shall be justified, and by your words you shall be condemned. That'll call you better watch your mouth. You know what I'm talking about? Because that man said, every idle word, he said, you're going to answer for it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to answer, you're going to speak for that. So they running their mouth, they going to speak for that. What are those, vanilla wafers? Oh, I'm going to say this nigga got a thing full of vanilla. I'm like, God, no. I'm like, this nigga got a thing full of wafers. That's a special type of breed. Now think about that, right? They tell you that in Ecclesiastes. They tell you that in Proverbs, that if you know you ain't finna say nothing right, you're going to say put a hand over your mouth. Keep your mouth closed. You know what I'm saying? See, if the people wouldn't have been sitting out there running their mouth, then they wouldn't have cursed that man saying, let their blood be on his blood, be on their children's children. It shut their mouth. Now they got to give account for that what they said out their mouth. You know, any dude, if you done talk to the word, they done went to blaspheming, they got to answer for that. You think he just going to block that out? I don't remember when he said that. You doing that. Back to Jose 7. You going to answer about that. He going to see you about that. Oh, you like to run your mouth, huh? You like to talk. He said, don't worry about it. I like to talk too. Verse 14. They have not cried unto me with their heart When they howled upon their beds, they assembled themselves for corn and wine, and they rebel against me. Though I have bound and strengthened their arms, yet they do imagine mischief against me. This is them killing the Mashiach. What you think it mean when he say they howled up, they assembled themselves for corn and wine? They were getting ready for Passover, and they were rebelling. Getting ready for Passover and rebelling. He say they return, but not to the Most High. They're like a deceitful bow. Their princes shall fall by the sword for the rage of their tongue, and there shall be derision in the land of Mizraim. So guess what that means? All them chief priests and rulers, they gonna die for running their mouth. Just like we read in Jude. There's a penalty for running your mouth. Job chapter 11. Now this is Zophar talking. This ain't Job talking. This Job homeboy talking. Job 11:1. Then answered Zophar the Naamathite and said, should not the multitude of words be answered? Should a man full of talk be justified? Didn't we just see that? Didn't you just see that in Matthew? Now what did he say the man would be justified by? His words. You know what I'm saying? Or he'll be condemned by his words. And Romans, Paul told you what? He said that you might be justified in your sayings. If your sayings are in line with the word, that's where your justification come in at. Your saying is going to be justified by the word because you're dealing with the word of faith. Because remember, a wise man will hear and increase in learning. He says, should thy lies make men hold their shalom? And when you mock, shall no man make you ashamed? For you said, my doctrine is pure and I'm clean in my eyes. But O Elohim would speak and open his lips against thee. And that he would show you the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is. Know therefore that Elohim exact of you less than your iniquity deserve. What that sound like? That sound like them scribes, don't it? He said, can you by searching find out Elohim? Can you find out the Almighty unto perfection? How can you find out the Almighty to perfection? How are you able to find him to perfection? Let's see. Luke chapter 6 and verse 40. 6 and 40. How can you search out the Almighty to perfection? Now, one, we just already stated that when we started, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they which testify of me. And Luke said in Acts 17. Yeah, the feast was still kept done and to be done in the remembrance of Hamashiach's death. But for the most part, Passover can't be kept in the framework of how the law write it because you don't have to do that anymore. There's no need for you to go get a lamb. You know what I'm saying? It's completely unnecessary. You definitely don't need to be putting no blood on your doorpost. And I know full well that your ancestors didn't put blood on their doorposts after they came out of the land in the times that they did keep it. Because it definitely doesn't mention that they did it during the time of Hezekiah. And it definitely doesn't mention that they did it during the time of Yahushua, son of Nun. When you look at Pentecost is pretty much the same. The only things that can't be done according to the text is Passover and tabernacles. You can't do them according to the text. You can't build a booth. Niggas going to camp out in tents. That's not all niggas said is they read in English a tent, but they didn't read in the law and see how it's supposed to be made. Because it's supposed to be made just like how he said it's supposed to be made. If you scream and keep the law. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to say I'm keeping this feast according to the law and you got to camp out, then you got to make it how he said to make it. If not, you didn't keep the law. You just did it how you wanted to do it. Because your forefathers in that time, they made booths just like what he told them to make. Now, to be honest, they didn't keep tabernacles too tough. Didn't keep it too tough at all. When it's mentioned in the Gospels, it doesn't state if they made tents or not. And they probably didn't. You know what I'm saying? But they probably could have. I don't know. It doesn't say. Because it does mention in John 7 that they were keeping tabernacles. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when he made a statement that he that believe on me, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. And that was during tabernacles. You know what I'm saying? But the main objective was the feast was to gather together and fellowship in Elohim to hear the word and to give thanks and praise to his name. That's really what it was about more than anything. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're supposed to keep the feast. Ain't no stopping in that. Because you gather them together to hear the word. Like some of those feasts, they Shabbat. So, oh, absolutely. Matter of fact, all of them are, except for 6 days in tabernacles and what is it? Passover. 6 and 40, right? Make it 6 and 39. And he spake a parable unto them. Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they both not fall into the ditch? The disciple is not above his master, but everyone that is perfect shall be as his master. What did he tell you, right? To seek the kingdom first, and all these things will be added unto you, and be perfect as your father in Shamahim is perfect. And he told you that all scripture is given for reproof and instruction in righteousness, that the man of Elohim might be perfect. So in order to search out the perfection of the Almighty, you have to search out the Son. That's why I say you won't come to me, that you might have life, if you want to be perfect. Which we know is to be Tamaim, complete, mature, with integrity, blameless, just, and upright. Job 11 again. We're in verse 8. It is as high as Shamahim. What can you do? Deeper than hell, what can you know? Now you see how that goes back to what we read in Isaiah 7. He said that to search out the Almighty is higher as heaven and deeper than the grave. So again, he's pointing to what? The resurrection and the ascension. You know what I'm saying? He pointing to both of those. So how do you search out the Almighty? By believing that Yahushua died and resurrected from the dead. The measure thereof is longer than the earth and broader than the sea. If he cut it off and shut it up or gather together, who can stop him? For he know vain men, he see their wickedness. Also, he will not then consider it. For vain men would be wise, though a man be born like a wild ass colt. Now listen to this here, and we done dealt with this before. Job 11 and 13. Tell me what this sound like to you. If you prepare your heart and stretch out your hands towards him, if iniquity be in your hand, put it far away, and let not wickedness dwell in your tabernacles. For then you will lift up your face without spot, and you shall be steadfast and shall not fear, because you shall forget your misery and remember it as waters that pass away. Now from verse 13 to verse 16, what does that sound like to y'all? He said, if you prepare your heart and stretch out your hands to him, and if iniquity be in your hand, put it away, and don't let wickedness dwell in your tabernacles. Then you'll lift your face up without spot. You'll be steadfast. You won't fear. You'll forget your pain, and everything else will be like waters passed away. What does that sound like? It is the gospel. No, that ain't Nicodemus, that man. Number one, he said you got to prepare your heart. When you prepare your heart, what does that mean you're doing? If you prepare to do something, what are you doing? You getting ready. That means you're preparing your heart to serve Yahuwah. He said once you prepared your heart and stretch out, when most people, in ancient times, when most people prayed, how did they pray? They prayed like this. Ain't nobody pray like this, and none of this here. Like some people say that this form of praying with the praying hands is actually symbolic of a woman's vagina. And I've done my research, and that was pretty much accurate. Yeah, that's just some pagan stuff. And then it's not the fact that people pray like that. It's the fact that the symbol, you know what I'm saying? And putting it everywhere of praying hands was supposed to be symbolic of a woman's womb.
I seen someone do like that, but they're like when the slaves was in chains, that's how.
Yeah, they say a lot of things, but that predated before they were in slavery. You know what I'm saying? Just some, some weirdo stuff. But it is what it is. 1 Timothy chapter 2. Yeah, it's just some weirdo stuff. Let's 2 Timothy chapter 2 then. What did he say? What is that? That's not necessary. I done seen people argue about that in the word. That's not in there. They blessed it after. I'm like, man, you niggas, wow. Like, but now they pulled out some scripts for it. They're like, see, they did it after. You don't do it before. That's Christian and pagan. I'm like, well, you niggas need to get a woman or a job. You know what I'm saying? Because something's wrong with y'all. I'm trying to figure, because what I want ain't, it's not in my face. Let me tell you something, Nisha, boy. A Hebrew nigga will argue about anything. Anything. If it's something to be argued about, you better believe they gonna argue about it. Shoot, I don't be arguing with them niggas. I don't argue with them niggas. Them niggas will pull out some stuff and you'll be like, where you found that at?
You're wrong.
I'm trying to find the verse that I want. I can't remember, man. It's escaping me, but he mentioned in Timothy about spreading Kadesh hands to heaven. When the Mashiach was on the tree, where were his hands and what were his hands like? So if his hands wasn't like this here, his hands were just like this here. What character in our alphabet is that? If your arms are stretched out to Elohim, what character in the alphabet is that? The hey, the man with raised arms, or behold. You know what I'm saying? So when he's telling you, you prepare your heart and you stretch. Yahushua was on the tree praying to his father, was he not? So his hands were stretched out. That's why he said back in the day, he said pray with Kadash hands. That's why Paul wrote that. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you can pray any way you want to. You ain't got to spread your hands. I mean, some people pray like this. That's how the Muslims pray. They usually pray like this. You know what I'm saying? They go to singing and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? You ever heard a Muslim pray? Them niggas be in rhythm. I was locked up with them. Shoot, I don't go in there either. Them niggas pull out their rugs. Shoot, bet you lied if I was on that rug up the road, nigga. That's how you get out the dorm. Them niggas say, yo, I'm finna slide up here with you niggas. They prayed 5 times a day. Nah, a nigga when I was 20 from New Jersey was like, bro, just do it with me. I'm like, all right. That nigga's like, do voodoo. And all this. He say, how you feel afterwards? I said, I don't feel anything. He said, you should be calmer now. 1 Timothy 2:8. Yeah, and I was looking right at it too. I ain't feel like nothing. The nigga, cause I was chilling with the nigga, man. That nigga was in there for what? Making 1 Timothy 2:4. Man, that nigga was in there for trying to buy a Rolex from a spot on Atlantic. He got locked up for unauthorized possession of money. Cause that nigga tried to drop like 20 racks cash on a Rolex. And then that nigga was like, he was doing Western Union scams. But you around here praying to Allah. I said, I bet you wasn't praying to Allah when you were pulling them scams. You know what I'm talking about? You wasn't praying to him then. Nigga catch that case, nigga like this here. Allah, you Akbar. Nigga be in that Jesus. In Jesus' name I pray. That's all them niggas be doing. Them niggas be standing in that circle, holding hands, singing Trouble Don't Last Always. Boy, you be dying laughing. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, you nigga full of crap. Well, I knew one nigga, man, that nigga caught 10 years. That nigga came back from court. That nigga said, how I know this word true? How I know God real? I said, you was just super Christian for them cracker gave you 10 years, my nigga. Now you don't know if it's real. You full of crap. Niggas used to go to court with Bible verses in their shoe. Cracker give them 40 years. They be like, this here screw this Bible and throw it on the ground. Boy, nigga get locked up and get super religious, man.
Niggas be looking for a miracle, that's all.
So the miracle should have been you should have did what you did, nigga. Put them rocks down. Stop smoking and stop robbing. You wouldn't have to worry about it. He said, who will have all men to be saved and come into the knowledge of the truth? There's one Elohim and one mediator between Elohim and man, the man Yahushua HaMashiach, who gave himself a ransom for all to be testified in due time. Whereunto I'm ordained a preacher and apostle. I speak the truth in the Mashiach, and I lie not. A teacher of the Gentiles in faith and truth. I will therefore that men pray everywhere, lift up Kadash hands without wrath and doubting. And we already read that when he said he was Abba forgiven. There was no wrath in his heart. He said, Abba, in my hand, in your hands I commend my Ruach. There was no doubt. Come on back to Job 11. Now, when he told you that if iniquity be in your hands, put it far from you, and don't let wickedness dwell in your tabernacles. How did wickedness get in your hand to put it far from you? Nail it to the tree. Now wickedness is released out of your body, and then you won't remember because what he said, you'll be a new creature. Old things are passed away. He even tell you that in Revelation about how the waters are pass this stuff away and you won't remember. Verse 17, and thy age shall be clearer than the noonday, and you shall shine forth, and thou shalt be as the morning. And if you're going to be as the morning, that means you're going to be as a day star. That's what Peter told you in 2 Peter chapter 1, till the day star arise in your heart. He said you shall be secure because there is hope. Yea, you shall dig about you, and you shall take thy rest in safety. You shall also lay down, and none shall make thee afraid. Yea, many shall make suit unto thee, but the eyes of the wicked shall fail, they shall not escape, and their hope shall be as the giving up of the Ruach. So what he basically telling you is that once you sacrifice yourself and been born again, then you have hope and safety in Elohim. Ain't nothing gonna happen to you. But go back to what we read in Numbers 24, who gonna be able to abide when he does this? And he's sitting here telling you who's gonna be able to stand. 1 Kings chapter 12. What time is it?
Well, I wasn't planning on going this long, but.
Oh well. It ain't gonna hurt nobody. Y'all should remember about 1 Kings 12. Y'all remember who in 1 Kings chapter 12? This little Rehoboam. 1 Kings 12 and 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem for all Yasharal to come to Shechem to make him king. When it came to pass, when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Mizraim, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, Jeroboam dwelt in Mizraim. Then Jeroboam called him, and Jeroboam all the congregation. Now we're going to move around a little bit. Y'all remember, right? The council between him, the young men, and the old men, right? Who did Jeroboam listen to?
The young.
Now let me ask y'all this question. In the Gospels, where could you see the difference of somebody giving wise counsel pertaining to Yahushua and they didn't listen to his counsel? In the Gospels. There's an example of this here in the Gospels to an extent. Now, of course, Rehoboam was given righteous counsel, correct? And then he was given unrighteous counsel. But there's an example of an individual who was in a leadership position giving counsel to the people. And they didn't hearken to what he was saying, but they fulfilled what he was saying, even though they didn't realize it.
Somebody told him something good.
No, they didn't tell. He told them something good, but the people didn't understand that what he told them was good, and then they fulfilled what he told them anyway.
When you said one people gonna die for that nation?
Yes, that was Capheus, the high priest. Remember, they came and said, if we don't do something, we're going to lose our place in nation. And he said, you fools, it's expedient that one man die for the people, that the people perish not. They didn't realize that his counsel was really that this man is going to save the people. They just want to kill him. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't really sit back and hear what he said the same way Rehoboam didn't sit back and hear what he said. The only slight difference in that of what you're seeing is that Rehoboam went and asked the elders what should he do. Then he went and asked his friends what should he do. And then he went with his friends. Now when you look at what the elders say do to sit back to see how that's a Mashiach in verse 7, if you will be a servant to the people and will serve them and speak good words, they'll be your servants forever. And you know what Mashiach said, I didn't come to be ministered unto, I came to minister. And then he spoke goodly words because he told them, these words that I speak unto you, they are Ruach and they are life. He preached the gospel. He said, I'm here to save the people, not to destroy them. And they end up being what? His servants forever. See, Hamashiach followed the counsel of the elders because you could take that as that's the counsel his father gave him. He didn't sit back and take the counsel of the men to say, oh, make their yoke upon them lighter and say, hey, that my little finger be thicker than my father's loins and totally rule over and destroy and disrespect the people. He didn't do that. You know who was doing that? Who followed that counsel? That's what the scribes were doing. Because he said they were putting burdens on the people that they wouldn't even remove themselves. Because they were more concerned about serving themselves. And I think that's what dudes are seeing when they talking about the stuff with IUIC and all that other stuff, that they putting burdens on people. Like, if you go to IUIC, you have to buy a garment for Passover. It is non-negotiable. You know what I'm saying? And not just any garment. Like, they have a person who makes them, and you have to buy it from them. You know what I'm saying? And you can't attend if you don't buy the garment, and you got to buy tickets to go. Now, a lot of them do. A lot of organizations do have niggas like they got to pay to get in. Like they got to buy a ticket, reserve your spot.
So I'm guessing somebody else must have cooked the food. They all y'all ain't put in together, so maybe they paying it back. Sound like a banquet still.
I don't disagree, but also these are organizations that have multiple different locations. So I would wager that they should have been doing some fundraising amongst each other to be able to get it. But the garment thing is what got me. Like, and they have a different garment every year. You know what I'm saying, that they wear. This is facts. This ain't conjunction. This ain't speculation. This fact. This is what they do. You know what I'm saying?
2019 edition, all that.
Yeah, literally. They put the garment out, and you got to buy that garment, or you can't come in. If you don't have that on, you can't slide through.
It sound like a Greek organization.
Some people believe that these are Masonic organizations. I can't speak on it.
It sound like to me. It sound like somebody that was a part of it.
I ain't never.
There's a whole video on them being Masonic.
That's niggas. A lot of that stuff with them being Masonic, that's niggas insinuations. Cause you see a nigga do this and see he's a Mason, he did that.
They said they couldn't check the floors.
Yeah, and it very well could be true. But yeah, I'm talking about the actions though. Like what she talking about, you're following the framework of a Greek organization based off what you're doing. Ain't nowhere in the text where Yah or Yahusha told the people that they had to wear a particular garment to attend Passover.
From pay for
Yeah, non-disclosure was different.
They was trying to get it with
I'm saying, where you getting that from?
From IUIC themselves. They're directly from them.
I'm pretty sure it's on their website.
And it is, because that's where I saw it at. An individual put it up there. People who were... No, I mean, this was out there, because niggas... There's a lot of stuff been going on with that organization. You can't miss it. I don't know all the dirt. This is pretty much known. I don't deep dive for nothing.
Now, I agree that people should help pitch in. Like if you able and you got the money, you should help pitch in for Passover because you gonna eat and other people might eat. You should help if you able and got the money. But charging people tickets, no.
But
saying a ticket to the Passover, that ain't about.
But see, I also know about them charging tickets because these niggas advertise this. People who are part of these organizations, if you friends with them, they post it when it's gonna happen and what it costs to go. Like you don't have to look very hard. You know what I'm saying? Like ISUPK have they Passover in a ballroom in Harlem every year. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think they make you pay to have to get in, but if you a member, you got to pay.
No, that makes you play. I see make you pay.
I didn't say IUIC. You know what I'm saying? I know GOCC, they make you pay for stuff too. Like they got a school, they charge niggas to teach them the word. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they call it Sutton Academy. Now you don't really know about that stuff till somebody get mad, and then they put it out there that was going on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, matter of fact, they had a video a couple years ago. They was like they auctioning off the sisters because they had a meet. They had all the single. It was really a meet and greet, but and that was at their Passover.
I seen that one.
Now they over exaggerated.
Single women go
Come up and state who they are.
and give their quality.
They qualities.
Get what they can put on the table.
I'm submitting. All of them said the same thing. I'm submissive and I can cook.
Kind of like you gotta have a single thing where you go and Yeah, but it was like that, like once I'm trying to get married type stuff.
But I would say that organization is real big on people getting married. Like they not big on nobody being single for too long. Like they gonna move you to get married. They gonna move you to find you somebody and marry them. It doesn't necessarily be anybody, but they not with. You got a lot of Hebrew organizations. They not with people being single. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to get you a husband. You need to get you a wife, and you need to get you one now. But you got to remember, these are large organizations. So you're talking about 400, 500, 600 people. You know what I'm saying? So they ain't looking at like, shoot, what you got going on? You need your... Almost everybody in IUIC, for the most part, is married. It's very rarely you'll run across somebody in that organization like that's not married. Shoot, tell that nigga to dislike his mama. What's wrong with his reporter? I had seen them pulling up out their spot on University. I'm talking about I'm riding down the road. I seen all them niggas coming from up out of there. Because, you know, we went around there because, you know, your cousin Slim Goodbody said something about it. But they hadn't opened up the spot yet. You know what I'm saying? No, like they spot is in a little spot right off of University, across the street from Popeyes. Yeah. Because we actually done met him. I ran into him in the gym. Them niggas shunned the nigga, and then we ran into him. That was at the gym on Merrill. Then we ran into him. Yeah, and I seen him with their fringes on. I said, yeah, boy, we on the same squad. Where? I didn't know they were IUIC though. They were like, where your fringes at, What? Nigga, what? Oh yeah, them niggas was straight up. No, the nigga was like, what camp you a part of? I say, we got our own congregation. He said, I'm gonna get with you before we leave. Them niggas slid right up out of there. It was about 6 of them. You know what I'm saying? Then the same dude, me, him, and Johnny, we see them niggas at the Bailey's on 103rd. They walked right up on us, and Johnny took the flyer. He knew. They had a big old Israel United in Christ t-shirt on.
I didn't know it was on the fly. That was the first time.
They was like this here. They were hot. They ain't want to talk. Will ain't want to talk. Will had been talking about for months, for years. He been wanting to catch them boy. They pulled up on the scene. He ain't want no smoke. He ain't want no smoke. He ain't want no smoke. I gave him some smoke because they sided. They walked right up on us. Well, I was already outside, and they walked up on me. You know what I'm saying? And then they came out.
Gang, gang.
We did. Hey, they really operate like that though. They operate like that though. Like you got organizations that don't fool with each other. You got brews that in the street have almost came to blows or have come to blows. Yeah, they operate like that. That's no cap.
I'm from Oklahoma. I haven't seen it.
I'm about to say, they don't do that. I'm about to say, if you're a part of the same Kojic or Baptist, Baptists and Kojic don't mix. They don't do conferences together. You hear me?
With nobody. Anything. All the smoke. Jehovah's Witnesses got more heart than a little bit. No, Jehovah's Witnesses has got Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons got the heart of a lion.
Oh yeah, that was I used to.
Boy, the Mormons will be on that bicycle, just 2 of them, want all the smoke. Let me go ahead and get us out of here. And then pick this up at 1 Kings 12 and 12. We already been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it's time to slide because we got to do this again. Most High willing, I will get to y'all Ecclesiastes 10, Habakkuk 1, and Ezekiel 38, and Nehemiah 3. If I don't get it before we depart. I know I ain't going to get all that before we depart. When we verse 12, Jeroboam and all the people came to Jeroboam the 3rd day as the king appointed, saying, come to me again the 3rd day. And the king answered the people roughly and forsook the old men counsel that they gave him and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, my father made your yoke heavy. I'll add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips. I'll chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was of Yahuwah, that he might perform his saying, which Yahuwah spake by Ahiah the Shilonite and Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So when Yasharal saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Yasharal. Now see to your own house, David. So Yasharal departed unto their tents. So what we see with the rough speaking, but it's in the reverse in the Gospels, that the scribes and Pharisees spoke roughly about Yahusha. So it caused the people to feel like we don't have. Well, what you over there doing, boy? You all right? Look like you having convulsions. Huh? You shaking. You know what I'm saying? It caused the people to turn and say they didn't have an inheritance in Yahusha. That's why they didn't want to believe. You think more people probably would have believed on him if the scribes and Pharisees would have been with it? There were instances where people said they wouldn't confess him openly in the Gospels because they said they didn't want to be put out the synagogue because they wanted the praise of men more than the praise of Elohim. And that's what you see with Rehoboam. He wanted the praise of men. He didn't want the praise of Elohim. Verse 18, but as for the children of Yasharal, which dwelt in the cities of Yehuda, Rehoboam reigned over them. The king Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute, all Yasharal stoned with stone died. Therefore, King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee Jerusalem. So Yasharal rebelled against the house of David unto this day. And guess what Yasharal's still doing unto this day? Rebelling against the house of David. Because they don't believe. And it came to pass when all Yasharal heard that Jeroboam was come again, they sent and called him over to the congregation and made him king over all Yasharal. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Yehudah only. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem and assembled all the house of Yehudah with the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors, to fight against the house of Yasharal to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam the son of Solomon. But the word of Elohim came unto Shemaiah the man of Elohim, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon, king of Yehudah, and say unto all the house of Yehudah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, Thus saith Yahuwah, you shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Yasharal. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. And they hearkened therefore to the word of Yahuwah, and returned to depart according to the word of Yahuwah. This also goes to the gospel. You know how? Because when Peter picked up that sword to fight, he told Peter to put that sword back up. Because who would have Peter been fighting with? His own people. You know what I'm talking about? And it's also sitting back dealing with it in regards to the gospel of my kingdom is not of this world. My kingdom is of this world. My servants would fight. So why are they not fighting? Because the word of Yahuwah told them not to fight. You know what I'm saying? The gospel is contained in numerous different places, and we just consistently and constantly overlook it when really it's the plan of salvation in it. I can get you Nehemiah 3 real quick because we buy it. I can get Nehemiah 3 real quick. What time is it? Huh? 5:04. Oh, you went to New Orleans on that. Oh, yeah. Nehemiah 3 is a good one. It's kind of long. I'll move it quick. Nehemiah 3:1. He said, Eliashab, the high priest, rose up with his brethren, the priests. And Tavon, too, I got them words for Ezekiel 27. Most High willing next week. Eliashab, the high priest, rose up with his brethren, the priests, and they built the sheep gate. They sanctified it, set doors of it, even unto the tower of Me'i. They sanctified it unto the tower of Hanil. Now, Eliashab in this instance would be Yahusha, because he would be the high priest. His brethren, who are the priests that built the sheep gate, would be the apostles. That's how they sanctified and set the doors that you might enter into it. Next unto him builded the men of Jericho. Next to them builds Zakur, the son of Eri. But the fish gate did the sons of Hesaniah build, who also laid the beams thereof, and set up the doors thereof, and the locks thereof, and the bars thereof. And next unto them were Memeroth, and the son of Uriah, the son of Koz. And next unto them repaired Meshullam, and the son of Berikah, the son of Meshizabel. And next unto them repaired Zadok, the son of Banah. And next unto them the Tekoites repaired, but the nobles put not their necks to the work of the Lord. What you sit back and look at that, right? You know what it say? When somebody's a noble, what does that mean? If you're a nobleman, you're higher up. You're like a ruler. That takes us to 1 Corinthians chapter 1. Let's grab that real fast. This one to go, remember I used to tell you, man, them dudes be like, if young Jesus just got the word, everybody will come. But they just using somebody of high stature because people believe somebody with a lot of notoriety will bring people to the word. But 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 26, he say, for see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. But Elohim have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. Elohim have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And the base things of the world. And the things which are despised of Elohim chosen. Yea, the things which are not, to bring to naught the things that are. That no flesh should esteem in his presence. So you notice that the men, you can come back to Nehemiah 3. The men that he used were men of lesser stature, correct? But he said the noblemen didn't come do the work. Because he ain't never going to pick no great people to do it. Because if he picked somebody, if let's say Obama was the Israelite, and he picked Obama to bring the word, would Obama get the praise or would y'all get it? Obama, why do you think he didn't let Moses come into the land? Because who would have got the praise for coming, for bringing him in there? Moses would have got it. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody going to be able to esteem his presence. So that's why he picked, that's why they said, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? He going to pick the people who ain't nobody going to think and ain't nobody going to look at, and he going to choose them to preach the word versus somebody who has great stature. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna use no actor. That's why I would tell you what Dick Gregory said. Ain't nobody in the history of mankind ever been liberated by entertainers and athletes. And that's the only people we got. If our hope of salvation was dependent on Young Jeezy or Jay-Z, we all going to hell. You know what I'm saying? But that just shows you how starstruck we are as a people, that we feel like Yah's word needs a rapper to push it. As if Yah can't raise up men in every city and send them. But you know what's going to happen when he raises up men in every city? It's like what's in Ecclesiastes. You're not going to listen to that poor man. You're going to despise his wisdom. Because see, these niggas got respect to person. It's a poor man saying you don't want to hear it. Because he rich, you want to accept it. And you still going to hell. I ain't going to take the word no better if it came from a celebrity or if it came from a nigga around the corner. The word is the word. Oh, it got more weight because he famous. He can rap on it on his records. We were just talking about this the other day, right? Indeed, we were talking about this on the like Hebrews feel like truth music will bring sinners in. I said it will not, because it's not for them. Like if you're making music about the word, who's gonna gravitate? If I'm around here sinning, you think I want to hear that? No, I'm not gonna put that in. Do you know what I'm saying? But if you're talking about somebody who in the word, that subject matter is they gonna relate to it. Because it's like what the words say with prophecy. It's prophecy for those who believe or those who don't believe. It's for those who believe. You know what I'm saying? So it's not for them. You're not going to, these niggas feel like if we could get it played on the radio, you can get it played on radio. You can have music videos, even though they don't play music videos no more. And the world's not going to listen to that because it's not for them. Y'all this and y'all that. I'm fringed up. I got mitris and my tassels on. Niggas don't want to hear that. Dudes really think we can bring them in with the word, brother. All we got to do is get this music out of here. Because you're simple. You know what I'm saying? Because you're simple. They tired. They need to lay down. They restless. Verse 6. Moreover, the old gate repaired Yehoda the son of Pesay. Meshullam the son of Besoda, they laid the beams thereof, set up the doors, the locks, and the bars. And that just keep on going. But for the short part, because we got to slide now, because we've gone a little long. In the short part, this is talking about how men came together to rebuild the house of Elohim. And that's symbolic of all the apostles, prophets, pastors, teachers, and evangelists under the guise of the high priest of rebuilding the house. But hallelujah for Yahushua in the word, because, yeah, we got to get ready to do this again about 2-3 more hours. I bless everybody out the house in y'all name of Yahushua. I appreciate all y'all. We're going to start probably about 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock for Purim. Go through that Sunday too. Probably around maybe 6 o'clock or something. Gotta be too late. So yeah. But just to sit back and look at it, if you see how the words of the wiser goes, and you got to set in order many proverbs to be able to understand them. Like when you understand Yahushua, the word gets simpler and simpler to understand. It's not as a complex of a piece of literature that you may have thought it was beforehand. Like before I knew the Lord, this book meant absolutely nothing to me. Do you know what I'm saying? It's forth as being able to understand it. After knowing him, or him making himself known unto me, I should say, it allowed me to understand it in a much stronger fashion, where it made it much simpler. Made it very, very... Most people who read the word and they look at it from the aspect of we Israel, this book is still very confusing for them. Because Yahushua has came to give us an understanding. So because he's given us an understanding, it makes the word simpler. But again, you are willing, man, 8 o'clock, y'all willing, we'll do it all over again. And with that being said, we got to get on out of these people.